en la noche, en Bora
Hollywood Hotel. Good evening. Just a moment, I'll connect you.
Slant, Kamran, action.
5, 4,
3,
1.
What's happening, everybody? My name is Paulie. This is the Latino Slant on a Friday Thanksgiving weekend. Wow, people are still stuffed. People are still full of it. And we're on a new system here in regards to we're off StreamYards. We're now using EV Muse, and I'm learning all new things, learning all over again with you. So we have a really cool show because Cameron's going to come on, and because he's traveling, he can be with us a little longer. And but before we do that, I want to say hello to the chat. But let's bring in Fletcher as well. What's up, good buddy? Look at you, all big and handsome.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out how to do my avatar in this one, and
You got to do a couple things.
it did not go as planned. So
But look at you, you're all big and bold.
yeah.
How was your Thanksgiving, and how is it still going? I should say really fast.
Oh yeah, no, everything was great. We ate a ton of meat, and it was great. We had a good time with the family. But it was so cold, so everybody's kind of like sniffling away today. So I got my tea. I got some green tea here, so should
Ooh,
be all right.
nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm happy you're here. I'm happy that everyone is here, including the people from Midnight's Edge. There's an Emmy raid. Andre is
Woo!
always so courteous and bringing his people there. I know they ended a little early. It seems like it. So welcome. So let's say hello to everyone. Lombardi. I'm still trying to figure out these controls here. It's pretty cool because it lets you just do super chats. It lets you do starred. We'll just for now we're gonna do show all. How about that?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
Mr. Tickle Trunk, Lombardi, running with scissors. Willie, what's up, Willie? Says hello to Cameron as well. That's cool, man. We love Willie. Osvaldo, got my coffee. My panera, and no work today. My favorite stream of the week. Yes.
nice.
Osvaldo, muchísimas gracias. How does my mic sound, brother?
It sounds good. You're not as robust as before, but you're robust.
Yeah, well, it's the angle of the mic. Maybe.
Yeah, you usually have it like going up, right?
Yeah. Okay, how's that?
That's better. Yes.
Is that better? All right, there we go. Lord Toth is here. What's up, Tot? Darth Scipio, always in the chat, talking smack. I guess Polly doesn't want to see Wicked and review it. I guess old age is catching up with El Viejo Polly. Well, first of all, Rosa Para saw it. That review is up. So, and that review is getting a lot of views. I'm gonna see it. It's just not up there. Let me put it this way: Romy has no interest in seeing it, so it makes going to see that a little more difficult. Solomon's here.
Yeah, especially in
Fire
the holidays,
Dragon.
you have to spend time with family.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about movies later on, so I'll let you know what movies we're gonna be seeing here.
Nice.
Daniel Bonso, some great, a lot of great people. Before I get to that super chat, I think. Okay, good. All right, let's get to the super chat, and then we're gonna bring Well, no, we're not gonna bring Cameron in. We're gonna do something else. Osvaldo Lopez for $4.99 kicks off our super chat season. Woo! Season forgiven. Oh, wait a minute. It's the season forgiven. Here we go.
That's how you do it, people.
That was so annoying. Saw Wicked, really liked it. The intro hooked me, and I will watch again. By the way,
Hey,
I'm not into musicals, and I hate woke. This deserves to make money. There you go.
yeah, it's making money, that's for
It is,
sure.
it is the Barbie of this year, and we'll bring Cameron in on that because he's like Mr. Barbie, so maybe he'll be Mr. Wicked with the family. You never know.
Ah,
Ah.
very good.
Okay, so I want to make an announcement really quick. And let me see if we can move these around. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Look at that, man. Fancy schmancy.
Are you saying si se puede?
Ya pudo. I don't know if I said that right.
It's
For
gonna
1
clip
week
that.
starting today, we have 50% off all items on the Latino Slant merch. Get that merch link right now. But look at all this, Fletcher.
Nice. I got the link of the merch store in the description so you can 50% off a Black Friday all you want.
All you want, including our infamous Defund the Thought Police t-shirts. The oh wait, you guys aren't seeing that. Oh, wait a minute. Which link did I share?
Did you? Don't forget
Oh,
to.
here. Okay, here we go.
There
Here
you
we
go.
go. Now we're moving, right?
There you go. Now you.
There we go. I was on the wrong one. Including our infamous Defund the Thought Police t-shirt. Right now, all you need to do is on all items, the code is slant thanks with an X, 50% off. 50.
Nice.
50, guys. So what we're doing for you guys is we're doing this for a week. So starting today, 50% off any items. Also, too, know that we have the link to this and all the information on our community tabs, Fletcher.
Nice. Yep.
Okay. All right. So there we go. That was our first. Look at this. I'm trying to work all this out. Ay.
It's a lot of
Okay.
options.
That's the link. So why don't you let us know what's going on as far as the poll in the chat?
All right, so we got a poll in the chat. We already got 41 votes. What does
Whoa.
Hollywood fear the most? One, not making money. It's kind of in second place with 32%. We're not two, not being relevant with 24%. Three, not making good movies with only 5%. Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah,
And
wah.
four, not being able to control us is the lead at 40%. Dang, y'all savages today.
You know what's funny is when we talk about that later on with Cameron, and there's over 79 of you guys watching, hanging out with us just in YouTube alone. That's not any of those reasons. Those are good reasons, Fletch, but they're scared of something else. And I honestly was surprised, not surprised, when talking to this Hollywood professional one-on-one. Of course, they don't want, they do not, they would love to, but they decline to come on the show. Chicken shits. All right, so keep voting, all that good stuff. We love that you guys are here. Share the link. And I think it's time to bring in our co-star, our co-guest, our co-host, the man himself, Kamran Pasha, everybody.
Pew, 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 pew.
Everyone, hi. Can you all see me? Forgive me, my voice is a little bit off today because I'm still recovering from a cold, which is kind of annoying during Thanksgiving week. But I'm here because I'm committed to Latino Slant and this wonderful audience.
Boom.
We can hear you loud and clear. Drinking that water. What? How was your Thanksgiving yesterday? I know
That would have
you.
been better if I wasn't sick, but I'm here in Houston, so the background is my nephew's room. So I'm in
Nice.
there, and he's got a lot of Star Wars stuff in the back there. But yeah, so I'm here in Houston, recovering. Was able had enough energy to at least join my family for a Thanksgiving dinner. We got good halal turkey here in Houston. A lot of halal stores,
Nice.
and it was very nice. And so yeah, I have the energy to talk a little bit today. We've got some stuff that came out on my Patreon this morning. We'll talk about before the video. So yeah,
Yeah, including a confirmed scoop from you, which is wonderful.
yep.
So people are saying hello to you in the chat, which is always fantastic. Every Friday, guys, we're here every Friday. God willing, all that good stuff, all the good stuff. What else do we got, Fletcher? Before
Excuse me. I'm going to
Well,
cough a little bit during this live stream, so forgive me for that.
oh, no problem. No
let me
problem.
you know what? Let me thank Osvaldo because check this out. We have we imported some of our videos. Here we go.
Woohoo.
All right, that's all you get. Hey, I can't be playing that too long, man. You never
that's
know.
that's nice.
Everything is what do you call it? Copyrighted on super everything's claimed. Everything's claimed. So
Oh yeah.
Osvaldo, $4.99. Thank you again, my brother, for the $4.99. And why don't we jump right into this Wicked in the box office, Cameron?
Hmm?
Because the numbers just came out this morning in regards to what's been going on, and it's pretty epic.
Yep.
It's pretty epic. So I want to go to Exhibitor Relations Company, which we follow each other. Really dig them. Good dudes, good peeps. So let's bring them up big. Still trying to figure this out.
We got a new system here.
Yeah, there we go. And then let me get rid of the banner.
Okay.
Alright.
You're mastering it. Okay.
Yeah. We'll the best way to like really learn it is you got to just do it live.
Got a little live.
You gotta
Good
do it
trial
live.
and error. That's the only way to learn anything. I just went through my martial arts blue belt exam, so it's trial and error eventually gets you there. So yeah.
Wow, that's right.
Nice.
Little Thanksgiving story we got for later on. But box office bonanza's here. Biggest Thanksgiving day ever. Moana. How much did it make? It made 28 million. Is that right?
Wow.
Just on.
Well, nowadays, it's done very well, but
Oh, I'm sorry. 59 million.
yeah,
59 million on Wednesday.
right. So they include, look, I mean, the way it works is that more and more they're including earlier days, into the weekend number. But
Mhm.
yeah, so but that's fine. Yeah.
And then Thursday they made 28 million. Wicked made 71 million. Gladiator II 6.7, and Disney is conservatively estimating a 175 over the 5-day holiday week window for Moana 2, although rival studios have a much more bullish estimating 215. Either way, it's the biggest Thanksgiving debut of all time, topping Frozen. Is this a big win for Disney because of their decision now? Because this was supposed to be on streaming, and then they changed.
Right.
Is this a big office win for them, Cameron?
I mean, I think it's obvious. I mean, this is the number one movie. It's done much better than people expected it to. I think even better than the industry expected it to. And had they put it on streaming, they simply wouldn't have gotten this kind of numbers, or at least numbers anyone could trust. Usually, when you put something on streaming, it's just because you don't believe it's going to give you the success you want at box office. Putting this on streaming would have been leaving a lot of money on the table. And I'm delighted for it. I've seen the musical. I've seen the musical on Broadway. It was very expensive to get those tickets, but I saw it, and I absolutely love the Broadway show. I mean, it was inspiring. It was heart soaring. When she's singing "Gravity" there's something special about when you see performers on a stage doing essentially death-defying, acrobatics, which is what Gravity and the song is on stage. You have somebody flying on a broomstick on stage on wires, right? It's
Mhm.
at the top of their lungs. I mean, it's a remarkable, and the show was really amazing. I have not yet seen this film. I do probably plan to see it. I'm hearing a lot of good commentary in the chat. People really did like it. Some people were surprised that they liked it. So that all overall, any good movie succeeding is good. And also, I actually, because you mentioned Barbie, I actually think it's important because people prejudge this movie for whatever reasons as it's going to be woke. And I don't know what the reasons why they prejudge it. Maybe it's because they had this black woman playing Elphaba. I don't know, but again, just a warning and an admonishment to our fans is that let's not become what the adversaries claim you. If you just, the adversaries say the fans are racist, and if you're going to jump to this movie is going to be woke and suck because a black woman is
Mm.
Alphaba, don't play into that. Don't become what they're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Happened frankly on Miss Marvel. People assumed Miss Marvel was woke because it was a brown Pakistani woman, and the assumption was this is going to be some anti-white male revolutionary brown person stuff, and it ended up being the most conservative family values show that's been on Disney in probably 20 years, right? It's the kind of stuff that the people, and finally now, after people a year and a half later realized that the actress was on their side, they went back and started watching the show, realized it's a really good show. So let's not be what the critics claim the fans are. uh,
Uh-huh.
are giving things a fair chance.
So I'm seeing here in this too early top five, and Exhibitor always does that. I love that he does that.
Hmm.
For the 5 day, Moana, Wicked, Gladiator II, Red One, Best Christmas Pageant. Eva, you have a diversity of entertainment here, Fletcher.
No, yeah, it's
And
completely. You have a lot of stuff.
so my question to you is, you know, I, there's change. There's these movies have their little messages, but can you separate the woke, kind of like press conferences, press junkets that maybe these actors do, and see the work for what it is?
Well, I mean, the
Yeah,
problem. I'm sorry, you're asking Fletcher that.
I was asking Fletcher, and then you can pop
Yeah,
in.
let's your answer.
yeah,
Then
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, I think it goes along the line of how much of the press junket like you kind of see,
Mm-hmm.
because I know I have a lot of friends who are like they're like zero like internet, so they don't
Mm-hmm.
watch any of that stuff, and they're kind of like, oh yeah, oh it's a new movie out, let's go check it out. And I also have friends who are like they're all over the internet first, and they're like, heck no, I'm not gonna watch it because they said X. So it does have an effect as far as like my family is concerned. You do have the people who are more active on the internet are kind of making a pass, like saying, I'm just going to check out, the play again when it comes to town or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
of, just the kind of weird things that they're doing, just in case. Right. So it is getting a little bit of feedback, at least in my small microcosm that I can speak
Yep,
on.
that's fair, Cameron.
That's fair. I've been engaging some of the nice people in the chat on this. Again, we should be, as I've said many times, I've said it on YouTube channels, I've said it on my Patreon. Look, actors are never going to be where you are politically. The vast majority of them are quite liberal to the progressive, to even the socialist scale of things, because that's most artists, right? That's just the way it is. Most artists are broke. Most artists, as a result, tend to desire safety nets because they're struggling all the time. And even when
Mm.
they become famous, they tend to still have those sort of socialized views on how things should work based on all their suffering that they experience. So artists are always going to be more progressive and leftist than you are, and they're going to say things because their audience, and they're going to say things you don't like because their audience in those press conferences isn't you. Their audience is people in Hollywood that they're hoping will continue to give them work, right? They don't want to end up like Gina Carano having to fight lawsuits, trying to get their career back, and all. They don't want to deal with that, right?
Or
Even if
Melissa Barrera, which we will
Melissa
get into
Barrera,
later. Yeah.
I mean, she, despite the fact her career is still around, she's saying openly that this was the worst experience she's had in her life, right? Of being canceled, by the industry, and so you're never going to get what you want to hear from most actors. Every now and then, there's a savvy actress or actor or actress like Sydney Sweeney who understands the what the audience wants to hear and gives them that. Also, that's what they want to look at. That gives them that, right? And it has reached a level of power where the industry kisses their butt no matter what they do, and so they can
Okay.
be themselves. Jen Ortega is another example of someone who has a fan base to support her, who can be honest to herself. Even if you don't like always her positions, I tend to support a lot of her positions, especially on the Middle East. But whatever. So it's
Let's jump on that.
judgment is not fair
Yeah.
for film because that's just actors doing actor things. It's not the
Let's
script.
let's jump back to this box office in Gladiator
Yeah.
2. I have that as of today, worldwide over $245 million. While that's not, that's pretty darn good. The problem is it costs 300 to make. And there was a little slack this past week where one of Ridley's was it current DPs or cinematographers saying, "Oh, Ridley's gotten lazy filmmaking." I mean, that was kind of nutty to hear. But with Gladiator 2, I think I know Fletcher gave it a thumbs down. I gave it a thumbs up. Uh, what are your thoughts on the numbers and kind of the little drama there with the past cinematographer Cameron and it costing so much money to make this film?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't know enough about the drama, so can you give me more information about it? Then maybe I can comment on it because haven't followed it enough to know it to be able to comment on it properly. So tell me what's happening.
Sure, I will. Just give me your box office thoughts because it cost over 300 production. It's so far it's made 245 million worldwide, which is pretty good, and it's pretty good for a Ridley Scott film. But why was this film so expensive? And how much does it need to make in regards to just breaking even? Do you have any idea, Cameron?
Hold on, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm dealing with certain people in the chat who are being a
Oh,
little. So forgive me. Repeat. I'm
all
trying
right,
to
all
use
right.
more
Fletcher,
more
why
being
don't
polite.
you?
People are not being polite, but let's go back to this. Forgive me. I'm going to focus on you now because I was just dealing with some people in the chat. But go on.
Yeah. We got to focus on the show.
Yeah.
We love the chat. Do me a favor, chat. Keep it civil. We don't mind discourse, but just keep it
Yeah, and
cool.
if you look, if you don't like me, why are you on this channel? Why are you here? Just go. Don't
And you
don't
know what?
don't
And
bother.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm now gonna go look into the chat because I haven't even opened it up. But I think that's the same thing of like if you don't like the actors talking on the press conferences, don't I just don't watch and I'll go watch their movie. Or I won't, right, Fletch? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you have your choice. You can check it out. You cannot check it out. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, people have all kind of proclivities, and it's just this is pretend it's Thanksgiving dinner. We keep it civil because we have the crazy uncle and the crazy aunt together.
So my question is to you guys, why did Gladiator cost so much money to make? Over 300 million. It's made 240, 250. Um, why did it cost so much to make? And how much does it need to make, Fletcher?
Oh my gosh, I think it has to break the 7 or 8. I would say it's probably has to the way that the reason why it was so expensive is the sets. A part of it was the sets. A lot of the reshoots because they had to close down for the virus of a certain name, and they had to close down the whole production, and their sets were massive. And then they
Really?
had to redo the sets, and they're a lot of the sets are in foreign lands. So some of this, a lot of stuff got messed up and all stuff. They had to rebring the actors, and I think that's why some of the scenes, they look a little bit like it was shot in a different style, and some of the like color grading and stuff like that, it's different on the film. Is because they had to, shut down production and then
Uh-huh.
pick it back up. So there's a little bit of a like a wide gap in that, and it just hit their bottom line tremendously, as it did a lot of productions. But Mr. Scott was like, "No, I have to get the shot," type of deal. So
Right.
it just ballooned.
Well, our own Rosa Parra is in the chat. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving and are still enjoying it. She's got some amazing reviews up on the website right now, guys, from Nosferatu to Moana 2. I believe most of the cost of Gladiator 2 went to production design. They constructed the Colosseum from scratch.
Yep.
And I have seen the movie, and so
Oh, you did?
yeah,
Okay.
I've seen the movie. I'll be honest with you. I did not like it that much.
Hmm.
I mean, a lot of people are like, "It's good." My manager's son, it's great. It's almost at the level of the original. I don't think it's the level of the original Gladiator. I mean, I think there's a reason it's not doing as well as people expected because I think people are kind of disappointed by it. And the original Gladiator is an incredible film, and this is a continuation of that storyline. As you see, it's a very much a sequel. It's a legacy storyline, going Maximus and his legacy. Right, he's even appears in some flashbacks in the film because it's relevant. But having seen the genius of the original Gladiator, it just feels like this for me, just as a storyteller and as a fan, the story doesn't live up to it. And yes, they went to all the trouble of creating these visual effects, and there's some amazing things you haven't seen before, which I believe are also historical, like them flooding the Colosseum with water and putting sharks in there. I think that actually did happen. Stuff like that did happen.
We
That
loved it,
Yeah,
bro. Me and Romy loved it.
I'm glad you loved it. I
We
felt
were
it.
surprised that we loved it so much, man. But I get it. I get it. You can't. There's no comparison to Rizma, but go on, please, Cameron.
But okay, it's just fine. I mean, but it's personally, I think that had they spent a little bit more time on making a more effective screenplay, because I mean, again, you and I disagree on this, and it's okay to disagree. I think the characters could have been much more interesting, and I think the actors were all good. But I think that you could have taken it to a whole other level in making us care about our primary hero. Because we're introduced late in the life, we discover his backstory as the movie goes on,
Mm.
and I didn't feel personally the same emotional connection that I felt with Russell Crowe and his loss. That drove him. Here is someone who's essentially trying to regain what they have lost, which is a little different than what Russell Crowe was, a man with nothing to lose, which explained his behavior. And so that's my critique of the movie. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was great, and I think the reality is the audience isn't responding to it the way that Ridley Scott expected, and they probably overpaid for doing all of these things. One critique of one can make of Ridley Scott, who's truly one of the greatest directors of our time, right, is that I think that, as we've seen with movies like Prometheus and other movies that are shockingly bad that Ridley Scott did, and this is certainly not at the level of Prometheus, it's a better film than that, right? Is that Mr. Scott is a brilliant shooter. He understands cinematography. He understands great performances out of actors, which are really central to a thing. But what I think he does not understand as much is script. If you give him a superb script, he will film the hell out of it and will make it an Oscar-worthy movie, which he has done multiple times in the past. If you give him a not great script, he doesn't necessarily see the flaws in the script, and he films it and makes it a stunningly beautiful, not great script. And I think Prometheus is the worst example of that in his career, where it was a garbage script, and he made it a beautifully shot garbage script, and there was no instinct in him that told him the movie doesn't work. So I think that the flaws that I saw in the storytelling, he couldn't see them, and he filmed it.
And Shanatsky pointed that out. Very nice pointing that out, Shanatsky. Hope you're well. Hope everyone is well as far as our special Thanksgiving weekend edition, even though it's Friday.
Yeah.
And then one other critique I want to give is that we've seen incredible gladiator stuff in the last 2 decades on just Spartacus, right? On stuff like that. Right?
Right.
And so I was used to a certain level of, I think that, there was a lot less gladiator play in the arena than I would have expected in this 2 hour and 40-minute movie. And having seen so much, every episode of Spartacus had some incredible gladiator play. So maybe I got spoiled by that. Because when the movie Gladiator came out, the first movie, we hadn't really seen anything like that since the original Spartacus films of decades before, right? And so I think maybe my expectations had been skewed by having the Gladiator world so extensively shown in the post original Gladiator film on television and other areas. So maybe that unfairly affects how I saw it, but it did affect it.
So listen, we can go back and forth. The thing is, it costs way too much money to make, plus marketing. Over 300 million. Let's say 2.5 times that, being conservative. This puppy needs to make around what 7 to 800 million to break even.
Yeah.
Fletch.
I would say it would be over the 850 maybe line.
Oof, my God.
Because the sets kind of like did him in, and
Yeah.
plus did you see how much armor and stuff like that they did? That armor was beautiful. That was like Kira Kurosawa level of like
Well,
armor.
yeah, I mean, like I said, visually the man is stunning, right? He's never going to underdeliver on visuals ever. It's just not in his nature. He's a master filmmaker, whether he's a master storyteller, I think is worthy of debate.
Right.
Well, okay. So what we do now, we'll wrap this up.
Yep.
This is a huge box office week.
Right.
and people are saying the cinema saved, not so fast, guys. It's still it's it still is a big weekend, and you got a lot of films to see: Moana, Gladiator II, Wicked, a lot of other smaller films as well. All right, so we have a couple of super chats, and we're gonna move on. And I really appreciate all you guys as we're learning a new system here. We have gone away from StreamYards. StreamYards is now a no-no, guys. They try to ambush me with an extra $20 a
Yes.
month. I said later, StreamYards. Adios. Osvaldo for $4.99 comes in again. I think he's gonna be the MVP of the day.
Woot.
Cameron,
Yes.
who would you cast for your Well of Babylon movie? Polly, when is Russell joining the stream? Fletcher's guilty pleasure movie? Oh, this is a
Mm.
lot for $4.99. All right, hold on. Hold on, Osvaldo. Well, he's a member of the channel, so we love you,
Right.
buddy. And I think you're a member of Cameron's Patreon.
Yeah.
Um, who would
So
you
I mean, look,
cast?
well, as our friend Paul here actually has read the Well of Babylon script and very much wants to help me produce it, and we've already had some meetings to facilitate that. Look, I mean, I ultimately just want to get the movie made, and the central star of the film is a Latina Marine, and it is set during the Gulf War in 2003. During the George Bush war against George W. Bush war against Saddam Hussein,
Mhm.
and so Operation Iraqi Freedom, as I recall, it was called. But it was but the central character is a Latina. She's a Marine. This was the first war that the women were actually in combat in the United States history, as far as I'm aware. And so we decided to take advantage of that in writing the script. There's so many incredible Latina actresses, half of whom have been on this channel already, right? So any of them could play that role. So I'm open to it. The pivotal thing is finding the financing and getting it done. This upcoming next couple of weeks, I'm actually up for. We'll see what happens. I'm up for award for best screenplay at the New York New York City Horror Film Festival in New York City. That will be in a couple of weeks, and I'm actually, excuse me, if I stop coughing by then, I plan to be
Right.
at New York for the award ceremony. Whether I win or not, it'll just be nice to be one of the sort of finalists featured at that. It's a very prestigious horror, genre festival. So hopefully that will at least get it more attention, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Okay. When is Rosa joining the streams? She has an open invitation. She's actually a valued member of the team. She is leading the way on our website along with Alfredo Galindo from Mexico, thelatinoslant.com. And she will probably return for sure. Very soon, we're going to have our best movies of 2024 rundown. So hopefully, we get Cameron on there, Robert Meyer Burnett. It's kind of a tradition that we do with all you
Yeah.
with you and Rob and with Rosa.
Yeah, and Rosa's wonderful. I met her here in Los Angeles, through Paulie, and she's just a remarkable woman, highly educated. She's getting, I don't know if she's completed her PhD, but she certainly knows her doctorate program, and so she's really scholarly approach to filmmaking.
Yeah, we had a great time. We got to see the early Nosferatu. Just
Yeah,
just so cool.
that,
Okay, and then
that made me very envious, my friend. That made me very envious because I'm a big fan of Mr. Eggers, and and it sounds like you had a great time.
Fletcher, what's your guilty pleasure movie?
If you don't count luchador movies, I would
Mm.
say it's Ichi the Killer, Takashi Mike. So Takashi Mike does this weird, hyper, ultra violent, Japanese quirky movies that are insane.
Mm,
And Itchy the Kill is one of those like, what if the Joker was Japanese type kind of
Okay.
movies. Um, and
wow.
and it's 2001, uh, very hyper violent. So Itchy the Killer, I guess, would be kind of one, but Hitachi Mike, it's kind of like my go-to. Yeah, it's one of those you can't play with no family around because it's way too crazy.
Orale. All right. And we're gonna get our Thanksgiving movies picks later on in the stream. Osvaldo, let's go right now. For $5, Jeremiah Hembre, KS or K KP. What
I
are your
guess
thoughts?
KP.
KP, what are your thoughts on Tron Ares? And did you read the script?
Well, I have not read the script. I mean, I'm excited that Tron is coming back. Many of you may know, I was the head writer on the Tron animated series, Tron Uprising, which was on Disney XD back in those days, 10 years ago,
Hmm.
and you can get it on Disney Plus now, which is fun. You can actually watch it. The first half is very good because that's when I was there. The second half, I don't know, I wasn't there anymore, and so it is what it is, right? But I got to know the Tron world very well at that time, and from everything I'm seeing, I think that trying to get it back on track, I think there were a lot of mistakes made by Disney at the time when I was there. Certainly, I pointed out those mistakes, which is one of the reasons I was asked to leave after about 6 months
Right.
because
How dare you?
I'm a straightforward person, and I said, this isn't going to work. This is going to screw up the franchise." At the time, remember, this is prior to the purchase of Star Wars of Lucasfilm. So Tron was supposed to be the big Bob Iger franchise series
Mm.
resurrection that he was going to do under Disney, and the movie, did okay. Uh, the main core they were trying to do to build the franchise was the animated show, and unfortunately they mismanaged the animated show, and I, as the head of the animated show, I pointed that out, at least the head writer.
Hmm. Hmm.
There were other people much more powerful than me, which I would discover once I went up against the system, right? So I wasn't really in charge. It's the illusion of you think you're in charge or not, and you learn very quickly when you make waves. So yeah, I'm hopeful. It sounds like they're investing the time to get the script right and to put together a good cast. I think Mr. Leto's involved. I've met him once. Seems like a decent person, and certainly a very talented artist. And yeah, so I'm hopeful that they'll get it right. Haven't gotten a lot of things right in the last 10 years or 20 years. So
Hmm.
so it would be nice if they didn't screw up Tron further, and they'd because it's a worthy franchise. I had seen the movie as a kid, and then I really fell in love with it again when I was working on that show, because then I got to really see behind the scenes and learn a lot more of the lore of just having to write the show. And it really is ahead of its time, visionary, allowed us to do a lot of analogies about society, which science fiction always allows you to do. And you have to be able to take those risks in storytelling to make those analogies of society, which Gene Roddenberry always did in Star Trek. So let's hope they get it right.
Awesome.
And we got a new member. Richard the Dungeon Crawler has become a member. Thank you so much,
Woohoo!
Richard, and for all the great super chats, which we listen. We love them all. This is for you. La da da dee dee dee. Polly here on the Latino Slant. Slant, Cameron, action. Fridays, every Friday. This is episode 3. During our Thanksgiving weekend, I want to remind you guys really quickly before I say hello to some of the members. We have a sale going on. That's right. What's it called? Black Friday. We're going to have it for a week. 50% off on anything on our merchandise page. We have cups, t-shirts. We have the Defund the Thought Police t-shirt, which I love to wear all the time. 50% off. Go right now and check it out. Okay, and another thing we're checking out here in the stream are our members coming to hang out with us, such as Read by Nature. What's up, brother? He says hello to Polly and Cameron. Want to say hello back to you, man. I want to say hello back to all our members hanging out with us. Where is that? Where is that one? There you are. There you are. What's happening, man? Also, to Star Wars Marvel purists, went ahead and did a nice little apology in the chat. We appreciate that. Nosferatu should be good. Eggers is consistent. I believe we're going to talk, but I believe we're going to have a special Nosferatu live stream this Monday, because Monday is the embargo lifts as far as the reviews. Rosa Para says, and spoiler alert, my top 10 films of 2024 have significantly shifted in the past 48 hours. Greetings, Kamran Pasha. Adrian, salam. Professor Ichi the Killer is very cool. All right. Very nice. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and being here with you. I'm getting the handle of the new system that we have, Cameron.
Yep.
It's a trip. but I like it. I'm liking it.
Well, it looks good on screen. Yeah,
It's
look,
Yeah.
fun.
look. I do want to address something because it's just there's I've been doing this now for a couple of years. I'm very glad to be out here on YouTube. I'm not always welcome on a lot of channels, and part of that is because there's people out there who are very critical of me on YouTube. Fine, that's your opinion. Uh, you know, there's nothing I can do except be myself. And I've had to endure a lot of garbage. And now, we've got people out there putting out entire videos on how I'm a fraud and all that. And you're welcome to do that. I mean, this is your commentary on me. It is unfortunate. If that's your judgment of my character, don't bring that negativity into the chat here. I already get people coming into my Patreon to say this kind of stuff just to do that. And I'm a human being. I'm doing my best. If you can't tell my integrity, if you think I'm a fraud, just don't show up to hassle people. Don't bother, right? My integrity speaks for itself. If you think Paulie is a good person, as I said, this gentleman who's been trolling me in the chat saying Paulie is a great person, your friends reveal who you are. If you think Paulie is a good person and you think I'm a fraud, there's a disconnect there because Paulie and I hang out together. I've been at his home. I've met his family. I've met his mother. So if you think I have bad moral character and you think I'm a fraud and you're sending people to YouTube videos that are insulting me, this gentleman who's hosting me, you're insulting him as well, even though you don't pretend you're not. And I'm honored to be on this channel. One of the few channels that still has me on because they're not listening to all the garbage that are being pounded out there. So thank you, Paulie. And so people can say whatever they want, but understand that your friends reveal who you are. And the fact that Paulie is my friend, the fact that Mexican Iron Man is my friend, when you insult me, you're also saying there are people of bad moral character. So that speaks for itself.
Amen. Amen. You
Amen.
gotta keep it halal, not haram. There you go.
Okay, so where do we want to go next, Cameron? I want to throw it to you. Want you to. Well, here's what we got. We obviously got your scoops. We
Yes.
got also too the Melissa Barrera. We got Facebook and Trump. We have our favorite movies. We have the AI, the real fear of Hollywood. Where would you like for us to go
Why
next?
don't we jump a little bit into my scoops as well, and we can talk about that because it's actually references what I just said because it references the fact that our John Favreau is certainly aware of what is happening on YouTube and it's impacting choices he's making. So that's certainly interesting information I think for the audience. It's new. I hadn't known that.
Mm, all right.
All right. Well, here we go. Scoop a loop. Haha. Favreau tailoring Skeleton Crew released to YouTube Analytics. What? Let me
Yeah.
read a little bit of this. This is right off your presses there. 40 minutes ago at the time of our video recording. Many people in the media and the fandom expressed surprise that the Lucasfilm new Star Wars show Skeleton Crew is being released Monday, December 2nd, 24 hours earlier than initially announced, and have been asking why there has been a last-minute scheduling change. Our insider, Disney insider Sparrow, reached out with some very interesting information to answer that question. And their intel reveals how closely Jon Favreau and his team are watching the fandom and how they are tailoring their efforts to match patterns among Star Wars channels. As Sparrow explains, one of the artifacts that was left over from the KK administration was access to analytics for YouTube. It turns out pro Jon Favreau channels do not live stream on Mondays. So by moving Skeleton Crew on to Monday, it would allow them to watch the show and review it through the week on the days that are most beneficial, which typically is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Our inside contact reveals that Lucasfilm is watching YouTubers so closely that they even have systems designed to analyze video transcripts for keywords in order to identify who is supportive of Favreau and who is an adversary. And they are using information to strategize not only marketing, but also timing of the projects. And I'm going to read this last line, then hear from you.
Sure.
Sparrow says that the level of detail that Lucasfilm has on other YouTube activity is so high that it strongly suggests that you are getting inside data from YouTube itself. What is going on here? Wow.
This was surprising information, but as I later talked on the Patreon, it actually makes sense with what we know. We've speculated, I've speculated for some time that Lucasfilm has contacts inside of all the major social media things, which includes Twitter, or X as is now and YouTube. And one of the evidences we have for the YouTube element is, if you recall, the down button, which was very popular. I like to use it when I didn't like things. I wanted people to know this video is
Mm-hmm.
garbage, right? When we had that, we could express our views publicly. And if you recall, that button's been disabled, and it was disabled shortly after I believe Ms. Kennedy had put out a video that some got tens of thousands of dislikes. That was so
Mm.
embarrassing, and then
Mhm.
instantly YouTube removed a standard, you know, element of their videos, which had been in use for years, but they removed it because apparently one person was upset. So we know that Lucasfilm has contacts at that level, because we saw them change one of the most fundamental principles of their videos, was allowing people to publicly say whether they like or dislike it. Now you only know if they like it. You can have 1,000 likes, don't know that there's a million dislikes. You just don't know, right? And so we've had some evidence of that. This was information that I didn't know, and it was news to me, and it makes
Mhm.
sense to me, because we've also in the past, I believe, other shows have premiered earlier than was initially announced, and that suggests that the Kennedy regime was using those analytics for their own benefit, saying
Mhm.
whoever they thought was going to support those shows, they would then tailor the release to that. That's, again, it makes sense looking back as to why other shows we had last minute changes in release date on Star Wars, and now we've
Mhm.
had a last minute change. And basically, 1 week in advance, we hear of a change that is coming 24 hours earlier. And my contact says it's because they looked at it and they said the people that generally seem to be hostile to what Mr. Favreau is trying to do with Star Wars, or hostile, like the purists out there who are hostile to anything that isn't Lucas or whatever. And they found in the analytics, they tend to live stream and do their conversations on Saturday, Sunday, and so that weekend stuff tends to be when it
Mhm.
happens.
Mhm.
And then they found that in broadly across YouTube, we're not talking about the major channels here, because I'm going to actually reference the major channels like our friends at Midnight Edge and our friends at Doomcock, but they actually, because they've analyzed those as well. I didn't put that in the article, but I'll explain it here.
Mm.
Broadly across YouTube, the more sympathetic sites who are hopeful for Star Wars tend to do live stream conversations and reviews on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays of the week. One channel that was actually mentioned that they seem to be aware of is a channel that is a wonderful channel. It deserves to be much bigger than it is, and the member, the creator is a friend and a member of my Patreon. Is Zach, ZAXX. If you aren't following Zach,
Yes.
Zach's, I believe, live streams on Wednesdays. That's when I come on.
Love Zax.
Zach's is wonderful. Zach's, if you or any of your team is on the chat, your name was brought up in the conversation I had this morning.
Wow.
Your name was brought up, and as an example of a website they are aware of, a YouTube site that they're aware of, that has been, and they're, at least in Favreau's opinion, fair to them and not been inherently hostile and fanatical against them. And so they're aware that you're streaming on Wednesdays. So for channels like you, and for channels like Latino Slant, which we're doing this thing on Friday, right? Releasing it on Monday night gives everyone a couple of days to
Mhm.
watch the episodes, to come up with opinions, and then to do a real discussion of it, rather than putting it on Tuesday and then everyone sort of ramming in quickly their commentary without processing it. There's been times when we've seen things, and we initial reactions, we love it or we hate it, and then we think about it again, right? I think you've had that, Paulie. I think you've
Mhm.
had that. Very, very honest. You said, I saw it again and I rethought my opinion. You have a lot of integrity, and you always will state, okay, I changed my view on something. So you want to give people time to view it, and they seem very confident that putting this out there will galvanize at least those who are open to the possibility of good Star Wars to put out good information. If they time it otherwise, there's people that are going to be waiting to just nitpick and tear it apart. And they don't want to give those people as much breadth. So that's a strategic choice. Um, and so it shows how far they're analyzing it. But my contact said that, look, this kind of data doesn't appear to be normal analytics that most companies have, right? There appears to be inside information that only YouTube would have, that they're coming to conclusions of. So it means that people inside of YouTube are continuing to talk to Lucasfilm and provide them access. So that's sort of how the oligarchy works in the world that we're in. And now at least someone who I think cares about Star Wars is using the oligarchy for their own agenda. That's interesting to me.
There also must be some sort of, I think, first of all, there's got to be a lot of confidence in this show.
Yeah, there is.
And I believe our Chris Gore
Mhm.
saw the first 3
Oh,
episodes,
good for him.
and they were like, "This is great for kids." Like, like in the
Well, that's
production,
cool.
the production looks amazing. Like the money is in the is in the production. So did you hear anything else from that conversation or that those reactions, Fletcher?
I mean, I'll self-aggrandize because I've got my critics in the chat, right? I mean, again, you don't have to even believe. You can believe I'm making all this up. Whatever. I just don't care anymore. But whatever. They said to me, well, they may not have figured out who I am, right? They're still trying to figure out who I am, which is my contact, right? Codename Sparrow, whether you like that name or not. And they haven't figured out who I am yet, but they seem to be aware of who you are. So they are aware of who you are. They're aware of your Patreon. And as you've noticed recently, a lot of the stuff that I've said has been more rapidly confirmed. Sometimes it's been a year and a half we have to wait, at which point nobody remembers that I said it, right? But now, literally, for example, just 2 weeks ago, and I said it here on Latino Slant, I reported from my sources that there was no Simon Kinberg trilogy, that this was a fake announcement. 24 hours later, Variety essentially put out an article contradicting the other trades, saying that this was essentially an announcement that was not right for the public, that it wasn't meant to be announced, right? I've never seen that kind of comment on trades unless you're publicly saying no one is acknowledging the existence of the show and it should not have been announced. And that was revealed 24 hours after I reported it, when I was the only one saying this thing ain't real, right? When the Variety confirmed it the next day. So that they are aware of this Patreon that I have, and they're aware channels where I appear. And now there's only a handful of channels like Latino Slant, so they're very aware of this channel. And I'm glad, and apparently their system is following when I'm on, so they're aware that this video is happening.
So on the final note, I'm pleased to learn that Sparrow, that Favreau and his team are very much aware of this Patreon, like you said, and are pleased with my appearances on YouTube to promote accurate information about what's happening on Lucasfilm. And I would also say honest, authentic, like you're not just you're not blowing hot air and being positive to be positive.
Yeah, we critique stuff. I mean,
we critique stuff.
Yeah,
and
you don't have to like everything.
And as
you
Sparrow
don't have to
said,
like everything made by people with good intentions.
And as Sparrow says, they haven't figured out who I am, but they definitely know who you are. That's the most flattering thing I've heard since I entered this crazy world of Star Wars reporting.
Wow.
Yeah. Fletcher, any thoughts?
No, I agree, because a lot of people are interested in Skeleton Crew because it has that like that Raiders of the Lost Ark, Goonies kind of flavor to it, and it could be a new launching pad for a lot of stuff, because the way that it's set up in their kind of system, where they could bring in these characters later. They can it is trying to cater to a younger audience. So this could be the brand new Star Wars fans that they kind of lost. Not a lot of people were interested in Star Wars from the younger generation. So I can see this as a vehicle being used to attract that younger generation. It's almost like they're doing a two-pronged battle, because they releasing Skeleton Crew, which is for the younger kids, and then they're also introducing Andor 2, which is obviously for the older audiences. So you have a two-pronged battle being fought right now in Lucasfilm, where they're giving you quality product, because Skeleton Crew, no matter what the haters say, it looks great. And Andor, everybody knows, looks great. So it's like two quality products coming out at almost at the same time. Both gears at different age groups. It's a pretty good move for Lucasfilm.
I agree with everything you just said, Fletcher, and I think it's very smart that they're returning to children as their focus, because it doesn't, at least from what we've seen, it does not appear that there's any particular political agenda they're trying to post to children.
Right.
Certainly when the previous regime was focusing on adults, it was meant to change the attitudes or to preach an attitude to adults, which did not work. And there's an interesting thing that we can think about now. I mean, I think a lot of people didn't like the prequels. Have come to appreciate the prequels a lot more since subsequently we saw what Disney did.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
I love the prequels.
Listen, when I don't, but I will say when the sequels came out, my first reaction as each sequel came out, I was like, man, they're making the prequels look really good.
And I'll be honest, what it changed for me was this: I did not like Episode 1, except for the Duel of the Fates battle, which I still think is one of the greatest Star Wars
pod race
battles of all time.
Pod
right?
racer.
But now I have come to appreciate episode one. I will watch episode one 24 hours in a loop, then watch The Last Jedi. Right? I mean,
Right.
I can. I mean, so whatever. But the reason I'm referencing that is this: the criticism that people gave, including many of the fans, that hurt Lucas, but it was the criticism they gave him was that these movies feel like they were made for kids, right? And Lucas is like, well, that's what the original movies were for. You were all kids. You just forgot. I made it for you when you were kids, right? And that's what Lucas's response was, and Abu Nas, who's been one of my early friends in the YouTube world.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know that he's still YouTubing, but he was certainly one of the great
very
heroes.
rare. It's very rare.
Yeah, el presidente.
Yeah,
Presidente, man. Yeah.
he's a man of great moral character. Again, a friend. If you like Abu Nas, he's my friend. That
He's a
speaks for
homie.
itself. And Abu Nas has good moral character. And Abu Nas said something that really touched me. He said that he was very upset with Jar Jar Binks when he first saw it. He's like, what is this garbage they're putting into Star Wars? And
Right.
then he took his daughter to see it, and she loved Jar Jar Binks. She was a little
Mm.
child. She thought it was funny. She laughed. She would clap when he would show up. And seeing his daughter's reaction changed his heart. Like his
Yeah.
heart was warm just to see his daughter happy, even if he didn't like the character, right? And so that's revelatory because these things ultimately have to be for the child and the inner child within us, right? That's what they have to be for it to sustain itself. And I'm glad that from what we see from the trailers, it seems to be very oriented towards making children feel wonder again. And after what we've all been through, these children need wonder. They've been through a lot. I mean, the last 5 years has been hard for everybody. The pandemic
Mm.
harder for them. It was very damaging for children in schools, and they need wonder. They need magic. They need to believe that they can be heroes and not just be trapped in a world that is dominated by adults who are doing things that are causing them pain. They need to have a sense of agency, and that I hope is what Skeleton Crew gives them.
Jar Jar Binks, as performed by buddy and fellow black belt martial artist Ahmed Best.
Yeah.
We trained jujitsu together for many years.
Wow.
A great guy. I truly believe martial arts saved his mental game. He went through a lot of shit,
Yeah.
and it's great to see him doing a lot of great stuff
So,
now.
and let's talk about that.
I will hold on. I'm going to work on bringing that gentleman onto this show because I think that would be
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And I have several actor friends who've worked with him and love him. And, and we saw him recently, when he came back, and we saw him.
Guy's so talented, man.
He's so
Guy's so talented. But that's another stream. We have a
bunch. I actually want to reference
of super chats to get to, Cameron. But
well,
go ahead.
Very quickly references. So that's an example, right? Ahmed Best was doing his best. He was hired to do a job, and he did his best in it. And he was skewered by the fans unfairly, right? There's talk about, sometimes we're unjustly called, like we skewer people, and we didn't do that to young Jake, and we were called, and yet he was skewered unjustly, and it damaged him as a human being, as an artist. It hurt him very much. So look, I know it's so easy to vent on these YouTube channels, so easy to vent. There are real human beings involved in this, including me, right, who are being impacted by your negativity. Just, positive is so much easier.
Okay, absolutely. So what's positive is our PayPal super chats.
Yep.
So I know some of you guys don't trust Google and YouTube super chats, which I understand, but we do have a PayPal, Fletcher. Willie says, greetings from New Zealand. Is that correct?
New Zealand. Correct.
You're New Zealand. God bless you.
Look who's traveling. Get better soon, Cameron. Also, hello, Fletcher and Polly. Loved your book reading stream. Hey, we have a live book reading stream that is featured on our main channel. I read the entire novella the other night, Cameron, of my They Call Me Charleston, and I loved it. We had such a good time. Thank you, Willie.
And Willie's a very talented writer. I've read his material, and I've given him some consulting support. He's a very talented guy. So God bless you, Willie.
God bless. All right, here we go. Why don't you read this for me, Fletch?
This is from the Seaman for $10. Have you all seen OTOY Star Trek reunification? Does it mean anything to for future Star Trek?
I have seen this. Do you know what this references?
Yes,
I do know, but I haven't seen it yet.
I saw it recently. Apparently, they've been out for a while, and someone on social media sent me these links. These are videos using AI to recreate younger Spock and younger Kirk, and they sort of, the ones I've seen all are about the them facing death in the afterlife, right? And sort of we see Kirk's journey into the afterlife and seeing many of the characters that he knew in this life. welcome him into sort of into the afterlife, and then he meets Spock, who has just passed finally, and then there's this incredible moment of reunion between Spock and Kirk, and characters don't speak. I guess the AI is not using their voices, just making them look. It looks very real. It's very, 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 very moving. Your tears well up when you see it. I don't know that it's going to lead to anything. I think these are almost. I mean, they are sort of. They are being produced. Like I think various people in Star Trek have executive producer credits on this, including William
Mm.
Shatner. So they are being officially produced. I don't know that they're official Star Wars, and I don't know that it will impact the storyline. But if you want to Google that, search for these videos, they're very heartwarming.
No, completely. They're
I
very
mean,
cool.
I've been hearing like a lot of I've seen the video headlines or whatever that people are freaking out, loving this stuff. Well,
Yeah,
you
they are.
love it. You love it, Fletcher. You did the one in Spanish.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was really heartwarming because you do see parts of you see like what do you call it, the people from Leonard Nimoy's family was involved. William Shatner
Mhm.
was directly involved. He starred on them, back in the uniform, and then they also had a younger actor play him as a younger Captain Kirk. So he got him back in the universe. And the funny thing is I think
Mm.
Kurtzman was also kind of involved, which shocked a lot of people because it does have characters from the new Star Trek. So people are
Mm.
saying this could be like a way to unite a lot of those universes now. So it'll be interesting to see what they could come up with. But all the fans, yeah, if you Star Trek fans, go check it out. It's amazing. It's tear jerking. You will be chopping onions in the kitchen, right?
Well, and look, I'm always hopeful that Mr. Kurtzman will figure this out because he hasn't been able to. But I think one I would just caution of him having a credit, as we see Miss Kennedy has credit on everything that comes pro forma from her position, right? So it may be just that they obviously had to get rights to do that from Roddenberry and from whoever's currently running Star Trek, which is Kurtzman. So in
Mm.
order to get those rights, I'm sure part of that was to give them credit, and so I don't know that he got any lessons from it. I hope he did, because maybe we could get Star Trek back, which is, there have been some good Star Trek. Uh,
Was
you know,
this CBS AI or was it a independently produced thing?
it looks independently produced. I don't think it doesn't have the official roster of being something put out by CBS or
Uh-huh.
Paramount.
Well,
But
this is
it
a
has
very
amazing
smart move.
people. Yeah, it
This
is
is
very
a very smart move as far as Seaman. Some of the official people or the family members getting behind this production. And you're saying Kurtzman put his name to it as well, or
Yeah, so he had to have approval. So they had to have final say on it, and there is a character that they created. So that's from the new series. On in playing a pivotal role, kind of like a guider through this kind of like universe, because they did
Mhm.
have like different universes in play, and he was one of the characters that has some kind of connection to that universe. So they did sign off on this. It is independently produced and funded, I believe,
Mm, mm.
but it did get approval. So that was like,
Well, why don't we go to
Yeah,
our thoughts on AI and
sure.
the real fear that Hollywood is being gripped by, because I think this is a smart move, and this goes right in line with some of the commentary and opinion I want to give, and then obviously getting Cameron's opinion on it as well. So I was recently at an event, and I'm going to keep everything plural, talking to them,
Okay.
and them has been working in the business as a VX and AI professional for decades.
Okay.
Decades. And them, this was a one-on-one conversation in a room full of just complete insiders as far as professionals working in the business. It's not woke. It's not Hollywood trying to tell us what to do. I appreciate and I love the poll, Fletch. But Hollywood's biggest fear right now is AI because they can't control it, and they'll never be able to control it.
Well, they might through the
They're-
course. We'll get to that.
but this no, this is not my opinion. This is the opinion of them, right? This working professional.
Okay.
Okay. And that because of that, this generation is not watching cinema. They're not going to cinema. They're on YouTube and they're playing video games,
Mhm.
like massive numbers.
Yes. Yeah.
And that Hollywood is freaking out over this.
Mhm.
There is a video that I put up in regards to the politics of the award season, which them also talked about, which I think Cameron knows everything's politics
Yeah,
in
of course.
competition with that's almost
Yeah,
there's
Best
nothing
Picture isn't about the
surprising.
Best Picture. It's about who won the most supporters in the Academy.
Right. There's nothing surprising there.
Yes.
What surprised me, didn't surprise me, is what them was saying. It
Okay.
almost was kind of validating what we've been talking about the last couple of years. And that AI killed the movie star. It's like you can keep going back to with each new technology invention,
Yep.
Cameron.
Yep.
We take a leap forward, someone suffers. We take a leap forward, someone suffers. So here you are an acclaimed writer in Hollywood, in and out of Hollywood, novels, screenplays,
Mhm.
all the different mediums. What are your thoughts on this? Because this is probably someone in that you've swam circles in the same circles with.
Okay. Well, I agree that AI is not going away anywhere, and it's going to get better and better. I think it's going to get more believable. Eventually, it's going to overcome a lot of the uncanny valley reactions that we have. That this doesn't quite look human, right? And so the only choice that Hollywood has is to utilize this as a technology to its best. I mean, one of the criticisms that people have had is that efforts to recreate Luke Skywalker and others using various technologies have not been as effective as fan films, and that's a valid criticism, right? They've even had to start bringing some of those people who are able to use deep fake into like
He,
Disney to like
them brought that up.
yeah.
Them brought that up. That in it. Okay, go on. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
and so that's an example of the institutional structure being shaken, right? Because I've experienced that personally when I was on the show Kings. This was long before AI, but
Mhm.
there was internet promotion was on there. So this was on 2009. The show Kings on NBC. I was put in charge, or at least one of the two people put in charge of trying to create a cool new website for the show before it premiered. And I went out and found an external friend of mine who has a very successful web company, and he within 24 hours with just knowing the synopsis of the show, he had no inside scripts or information. He created this stunning demo website of
Mm,
what Kings could be, and created like an online game that people could participate in and get them engaged in, all within 24 hours with almost no information, and it was 100% effective for the show. And I was blown away. We brought it in to the people at NBC, and their reaction was this, like you
mm,
can see their body language. They didn't, and they're like, why are you going to an outside vendor? We have our own people, right?
mm,
And you have to trust that we can do better than this crap.
mm,
So okay, I mean, it's your money, right? I can't force you to hire my
mhm,
guy, but okay. And then a few weeks later, they put up their website, which is a piece of garbage. They put up the website that their inside people did, which was literally just photos of the cast. That was it. Photos of the cast. That was our website for
wow.
kids. It was even by the standard 2009, it was embarrassingly low tech, right? It was garbage.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe that they walked away because the arrogance of the system was they didn't want an outsider coming in. Well, that arrogance is now being broken, right? Because you're having outsiders doing fan films that look better than a lot of the stuff that's being produced, right? And so and now they're being forced to deal with, like I said, Favreau is aware of the numbers. They're aware of what people are doing on YouTube and other venues. And so they have no choice but to adapt and bring this into the system. There will always be, because it's moving so rapidly, and because
Mhm,
Hollywood is a bureaucratic structure, it will always be a little bit behind where things are, even if they
mm,
brilliant people, because the brilliant people still have to answer to bureaucrats who are slow in understanding and seeing the future. And so, but I don't believe it's going to kill Hollywood. I mean, did you guys all see Cobra Kai, the most recent slate of
yes.
right? I loved it, right? And I've loved the whole show. I've loved every season of the show, and I love this most recent. Spoiler alert: they use AI for the first time, as far as I'm aware, to bring Mr. Miyagi back briefly in a dream sequence, right? Um, and it was very effective. It looked like the actor, right? And it was very effective. So they were satisfied. The audience gets satisfied by the use of AI within the overarching story there. And the power that Hollywood still has, if they understand it, is that you have potentially the best storytellers in the world here and available if you use them. If you use great screenwriters like the writers of Cobra Kai are some of the best writers in the world. They know how to write, right? And so they then utilize AI to just advance a good, solid story. And so that's the only way Hollywood's going to be salvages. And smart people like Favreau are already ahead of the curve of that. They're seeing it.
So, and then to carry that, it's so funny. Everything you just mentioned, right? And every example you just mentioned,
Yeah.
we talked about in this long conversation that I had with them. In from even the Miyagi example
Yeah.
to the the to the Luke Skywalker, in that the thing that's the next frontier is independent filmmakers being able to just do what you just said, do their own AI.
Yep.
And that's the future, and then hopefully it balancing itself in regards to getting real writers, real scripts,
Yeah.
because you could tell as far as AI written scripts. But no, it was incredible to
And
hear.
that's the one thing I don't have any fear of, that AI is going to be able to do scripts. Sadly, there are a lot of bad screenwriters in Hollywood too, and some of the AI scripts are better than the bad screenwriters, right? They are. But again, I'm not holding it. I'm holding it to the best of what AI can do and the best of what human beings can do. And I believe the best of what human beings can do, at least in script screenwriting, will always exceed what AI can do, because the nature of storytelling is to access what is not yet known. Right, it is to access potentialities and that do not exist. AI copies what exists and maximizes it, but there will always be someone who comes with a visionary new story that nobody's ever thought of, and that will be the human element that will allow storytelling to remain dominant.
So going back to Favreau and Star Wars,
Yes.
which we talked about, because that could be pulled off with what you've been reporting, is because they have so much back AI footage of our three heroes, right? Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford. Then was saying the problem is that you could tell that the voice didn't work as far as uh, Indiana Jones, the latest Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's why you notice that there's no voice in these OTOY Star Trek stuff. They're silent. I
Oh,
think
really? I didn't see. I
the
haven't
voice
seen that
actors
one yet. I saw images. They looked really cool. I'm just
They looked good, but they don't speak ever, because I
okay.
think they're aware of the limits. Although Mr. Miyagi did speak in this dream sequence, and I don't know if they got a voice actor that mimicked his voice or they used AI.
Well, they have an actor now. They have a new younger Miyagi actor.
But Miyagi spoke as the older Miyagi in that dream sequence. If
Right? Yeah, you're. I thought it. I thought it worked,
I
and
thought
I
it was.
was.
I did. I mean, again, I would have to listen to the actor Pat Morita's voice again to hear it, but it felt true to me.
When it was a quick moment. Did you see it? Did you
Fletcher,
watch it? Did you watch that moment in Cobra Kai?
I watched it. Are you talking to Fletcher?
I'm talking to you,
Yeah,
Cameron.
yeah. No, I saw all of Cobra Kai,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah. Okay, good. Let's get your quick thoughts, Fletcher, and then we're gonna hit
and I love. Yeah.
some comments and some super chats.
No, yeah, I agree. I think AI is going to be a powerful tool for Hollywood to use. You already see a lot of studios using it. So it's gonna play a pivotal role, and I'm excited to see, because I already see. I have some friends that do like design work
Yeah.
and
Mm,
also like music videos. I got a ton of friends that do music videos, and they're all using AI. They're all using all kinds of systems that usually were used for gaming, graphics design in videos, and it's easily maneuver into sci-fi. So they're using all those tools. So the young generation right now coming up of filmmakers are going to be able to do
it'd be crazy.
complete a movie like from
Well,
zero to nothing just
so
in their own house.
yeah, I'm gonna cut you off real quick. We need to talk to your friends, because I did get very freaked out, inspired. And I'm like, you know what? I want to do something with They Call Me Charleston now.
Why
Yeah,
not?
you should.
Do it. Do it.
It's written. Obviously, I wrote every word. Let's
Yeah.
feed it into that AI, and I would be just
Well, you've just hit the pivotal thing there, Paulie, which goes back to what I just said a few minutes ago. AI will be able to make entire movies very soon, right? And make them look good.
Yeah.
That won't be the issue. The issue will be whether the storytelling supports it. And you've got a successful book. People are reading your book. People are liking your book. So you've got the storytelling to support it, right? And so that's going to be the one thing. Screenwriting is going to become even more important in the days to come for Hollywood to survive and for independent filmmakers to succeed. Because just because you can make a beautifully shot video, if you don't have a good script, people aren't going to like it. And so you're going to have to, those of you who want to do this independently, you just got to up your screenwriting game. You got to learn this craft.
No, completely.
We have breaking news. Romy is home, so I gotta let the dogs out. I'll be right back.
All right. Okay. So
Oh, we
we're in charge now. You have the
we
con. I don't know who has
we
the con.
have we have the official uh answer to the question who let the dogs out, and it's Polly. I'm gonna see if I'm able to star something because Polly did send me something, but I don't know if I'm able to star. Let's give it a shot. Let's see if I
Okay.
can star.
Are you able to do anything on this new system?
Probably maybe not because I thought I was going to, but once I played with it, I probably cannot. So
All right. Well, hold on.
it's
I'm
very.
getting an alert that my computer is about to run out of battery, so I'm going to figure out where I can plug this darn thing.
Oh,
So
okay.
give me a moment to figure this out.
Oh no, no problem, no problem, no problem. So yeah, gang. So I think I'm able to share a screen, and I wanted to cover this real quick. So it looks like Vin Diesel hints at Fast X Part Two release date, and I wanted to bring it up. Let's see if I'm able to. I guess I can't. So let's uh let's see. All right, no, I don't think I can. That's bummer. So yeah, yeah, I can't do that. But yeah, I can't share it. So yeah, it's just playing with it. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, man. Sanders, what's up? Chihuahuas. I know, right?
Okay,
It's a
I'm
mutiny.
back. What
Oh,
happened?
you're back.
I'm back too. I plugged it in. My computer was about to die. I figured out
Yeah, we
I'm in my nephew's room, so I
Look
got to
good,
figure
man.
out.
Look
So
good. All right. So where are we? You want to bring up some? We had a lot of super chats.
yeah, but I can't bring any of them up.
So you see where it says search?
Okay,
Go hit comments.
okay,
Hit search.
okay.
See. You see all the options. Pretty cool, huh?
No,
Okay. Don't worry about it. All right. So we got C-Man.
I'm gonna send some chats. I'd love to respond to them. Yeah.
So Jeremiah's become a member. Thank you, Jeremiah. Richard's become a member. Thank you, Richard. C-Man came back $5. That's not that it's fair, but does everyone at Lucasfilm realize they have zero leeway left with fans after the Acolyte?
Well, I mean, if you've been following my Patreon, I've been saying they've known that for a year. When I reported back in fall of last year that when John Favreau was told, "Sorry, we got to actually put this thing out," we thought we couldn't, but we have to for internal politics and other reasons. Put it out, and then he saw the raw footage. He's like, "This is garbage. This is gonna." He was outraged. Like, this is gonna mess up everything I've been trying to do, right? And so I reported that a year ago. So he's more than aware of the damage that Acolyte has done and was going to do. And all he can do now is to hope that you guys will enjoy Skeleton Crew. Remember, it's already, Miss Kennedy won't stop hassling him. Like this, all this nonsense about the fake Simon Kinberg trilogy, which everyone believed, even though it's self-evidently not a real project, right? To the point that trade variety has said it's not a real project, But she'll keep trying to sabotage him, and and you as a fans have to just wake up and support people who are trying to make it work.
Let me ask you this: you think Skeleton is gonna like decimate the Acolyte in regards to ratings?
Yeah, I think those who want to be angry will remain angry, right? Strangely, a lot of those people are going to watch anyway to just put hate commentary out, so that's going to give them views. I think most people, average normies, were just confused by the Acolyte. Think, what is this? What's happening here? and
Yeah.
I'm just not that interested in it. I don't know that they got involved in the dynamics of politics of it, and or even cared about the wokeness of it. They're just like, what? This don't make no sense. What's that? I'm just bored. I'm going to stop watching. But I think those normies will then come back because Skeleton Crew kind of looks good, right? And I think they'll come back, and I think that this will get the conversation back on track in the direction that Favreau wants.
Osvaldo Lopez comes back, MVP of the channel today. Thank you for all the super chats for $1.99. Sci-Fi for Me TV speaks highly of y'all. He should join.
And he's wonderful. And again, that's an example of friends reveal who you are. So
I know that. I know.
yeah, well, I've actually been to his home.
Okay.
I've been to his home. He's in the Midwest, and I was happening to be there for a ghost hunt in the nearby city, and I went to his home.
Oh, that's right.
His lovely wife. I filmed in the studio in his basement of his house,
Wow.
and he's absolutely he's a member of the Patreon, and he's a great guy and really passionate and very intelligent and gets interesting guests, and that's a friend. So if I'm glad to have a friend like that.
What's up, big dog? Fletcher's back.
Oh,
And Ghost Text for $20. My worry is for indie creators. While production costs go down, the ease of scrapping may mean all have to compete with easy, endless ripoffs trained from their content. Could the market saturate further?
Yeah, again, I mean, the issue is, I think, addressed. The concern you're raising is a valid one, but I think the market, when you're referencing market, the market will determine things by good storytelling.
Right.
And if you can get good stories out there, even if the visuals aren't perfect, the story will keep people emotionally invested. And that is why I think someone like genius like Ridley Scott has this flaw, is that he assumes that good visual storytelling, good visual imagery will overcome weak storytelling, and I don't believe that is true.
No.
Fletch?
Yeah, I mean, we already have some say a saturated market in the kind of like the indie side and stuff. People always kind of say that. So it's like Mr. Pasha said, it's the good stuff will probably come out to the top, like it always does. I think with more availability to social media now than ever, and people, regular folks, competing with major corporations as far as eyeballs on social media. Yeah, if you're an indie creator, get a social media account, gather your fans, and you can challenge any corporation right now, basically, for eyeballs and media. So it's an amazing time.
It's an amazing
really,
time. It's an opportunity of a lifetime.
Really quickly, Cameron, over 133 people with us combined.
Wonderful. Great.
It's been you guys have been incredible. Thank you. Get on over to our YouTube page though, because you can vote and you can subscribe, and then you can go to Cameron's Patreon. We've been getting super chats, all kinds of love, Mr. Fletcher, which is wonderful. Mr. Fletcher, did you like that?
Oh,
He calls Mr. Pasha. No one's called Mr. Pasha since when I went to law school. My law school, everyone was very formal, and you had to call each other Mr. Pasha, Ms. Jones, Mr. Sanchez, whatever. That's how you talk to each other. So it's nice to hear that again.
And what do we have here, Fletch?
Let's see. We had Snail Messiah for 50 Danish pronouns. I wrote something and was told I was like reading an unpublished poem of Edgar Allan Poe. I am so proud, Mr. Polly Adams Apples.
Well, that's high praise. That's high praise. If people feel that you are, able to live up to someone like Poe, then good for you. Keep building your talent, keep building your craft, and put it out there for the world.
That's a high compliment, man. Just like Cameron said, don't stop. Keep going. Keep taking those steps like we have in my little way. I have recently with my, I can't find I don't even know where it's at.
Oh, should be right next to your shoulder at all times.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Even as something as being meticulous with all the details in self-publishing, man, it's at our fingertips, and more to come. But thank you, Snail Messiah. All these wonderful super chats. It has to be rewarded with a little Mexican Iron Man. Boom. All
Oh,
right,
No,
Cameron.
one of my good friends, love Mexican Iron Man. Again, he's met my mom. He's come to LA, met my mom. Really decent human being.
Mark Zuckerberg meets with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago.
Mhm.
what?
What?
Why does that surprise anybody? I mean, this is all a continuation. The power structure had decided several months ago that they were on board with Mr. Trump. I mean, that's why I knew how the election was going to go, even if my friends in Hollywood didn't, and were shocked, I say, at the results. When I told them,
Shocked, I tell ya.
I knew the exact. I mean, the results were exactly what I expected, and they were just. I said that, and I got unwelcomed at various, writers' boards when people got upset that I pointed this out to them, that this was obvious. But this is the reason. This is an example of where the system's been going. The powerful decided that Mr. Trump is their bet months ago, and that example of that is proved in how the media moguls who were largely critical of Mr. Trump suddenly switched over to refusing to give endorsement to Ms. Harris. The two primary examples being the Los Angeles Times and the
Mm.
Washington Post, which are progressive as progressive comes, right? And LA Times defines what people in Hollywood believe, and or at least reveals what people in Hollywood believe, and Washington Post reveals what people believe in the Beltway. And I've always said Hollywood and Washington D.C. are essentially the same. The joke is that D.C. is Hollywood with less attractive people, right? And so they're parallel systems because they're both about controlling the masses largely through propaganda. But and
Let's read a little bit of this.
let's read it. So
Uh,
this is part of that.
the pair had dinner in Mar-a-Lago. The Times, citing sources close to the two billionaires, reported that the meeting was initiated by Zuckerberg, who has had a contentious relationship with the president-elect. It's unclear what they discussed during their meetings. Facebook founder said to have traveled to West Palm Beach on Tuesday before meeting with Trump on Wednesday. Multimedia reports saying the two exchanged pleasantries. Zuckerberg congratulated Trump on winning the election. Trump and Zuckerberg dined together later that evening. I mean, that's really, the kind of like the A to Z of this little thing. But just like you said, people are going to him,
Yeah.
whether they're trying to
Once
salvage.
again, kiss the
Excuse me,
ring. That's what
hold
they're
on a
going
second.
to get from this guy.
Whether they're trying to salvage their failing ratings of their MSN TV show, oh, or or earning the respect of each other. Joe Rogan going now, first time ever, to Mar-a-Lago for a podcast because Trump went to him and did 3 hours on his podcast. This is unprecedented, man.
No pun
New
intended.
new media is here, new media is now, and this is a critical time in our country. Cameron, what are your thoughts? Some
Yeah,
more
I
thoughts.
mean, this is the system has decided that Mr. Trump is the way things are going, and and what he represents. Because who knows, with Mr. Trump, he's an elderly man. Will he complete his term? I don't know, but I think that the movement that he's put in motion, which is essentially a nationalist movement, is going to continue through Mr. Vance and others. Regardless, I think people in Hollywood and in the traditional Republican Party believe that it was a flash in the pan movement, and that once Trump is gone or he's convicted or whatever they thought they could do to him, that the movement would go away. It isn't about a person. This is about a historical change in the United States, and I think worldwide. I think everyone is going back to preserving their own home fronts and building up fences and trying to survive. And so the idea of the McDonaldization of the world is over for the time being. Everything's a cycle. It will come back at later points when people feel comfortable. Then they become more about, we're all kumbaya together on this planet. But when people feel insecure about their future and about their day to day lives, it's batten down the hatches time, and that's what I think people like Mr. Trump represent is batten down the hatches. That's a phenomenon. Mr. Trump is the top of a wave. It's not he's not the one driving the wave, which is I think something Hollywood never understood. But these media moguls do understand that, and that's why they're going there kissing his ring because it isn't about him. It's about a movement that is now worldwide.
Now, I'm gonna speak to you, Tom, really quick because you're saying these two things, right? Still, half the country still hate Trump. It was a close election. That
Was it?
being said,
Was that close?
Tom, if you look at each state, many counties, many states, they all voted majority red. And for even a state like California to have seismically by counties changed to red, it's not that close, Tom. Now, you're talking about a popular vote and the as opposed to electoral college. This was a resounding, ass whooping.
Yeah, and that just represents where Americans are. One doesn't have
Yeah,
to. Some people in the chat don't like that. That's where Americans are. That's
right.
where they are. That's where they are. And even to the point that Hollywood has accepted it. The anger that was felt that I heard for 24 hours after Mr. Trump's victory is not like the madness that I heard after his victory in the first time. Right? They've kind of sullenly accepted reality, and their bosses had accepted reality months in advance.
Well, listen, Cameron. Listen. The reason why I'm kind of pointing out to Tom, and it's like, yeah, you're always gonna have that one side that hates the other, but uh, media's coalescing. Like they got to change their game because old media is dead.
They've accepted that. They now
They've
accept
accepted
that.
that, and the future's now with podcasts, with you Tom. Hopefully, you're getting information through through many different sources and
Like
coming up
this
with your own
channel.
opinions. Coming up with your own opinions.
Yep.
So while that might be true, two truths can live in the same place in regards to yeah, people still hate him. He only won by 3 million. It's like, yeah, but he won, and and, and there's all these other circumstances happening now. There's all these other factors going on now that just can't be denied. There's just a shift that's going on. So I just wanted to point that out, and then it kind of connects to all what we're talking about. Fletcher, any
And I
thoughts
just
on
want to bring this one point that I said earlier that might have been hidden. History is always cyclical. This is the moment of history we're going through, and it is an inevitable moment.
Mhm.
And the cycle when the world feels stabilized again and people feel safe again, then they will be open to more progressive ideas. Progressive ideas thrive at times when people feel safe. When they feel
So
unsafe, they tend to go to conservative ideas. It's just a pattern.
Fletcher, any quick thoughts?
Yeah, I think you see kind of like a shifting now in a lot of industries. A lot of things that are happening or getting like slight tweaks. A lot of stuff is coming out. You did see and even like Disney Plus had some series that had some questionable stuff, with kids and all that kind of stuff that was completely removed, episodes removed. And you see a lot of, I mean, Apple just came out with an ad that's completely like pro life, pro family in a sense. Um, so you have like, wow, a lot of these companies are kind of like shifting gears a little bit. It's going to be a slow process, but it's kind of like Miss Basha said. So, when times are tough, you just want that hardcore, let's get something done. And then when times are easy, then hey, everybody's like, hey, let's go with some more liberal ideas. You know what I mean?
It's just human nature, and we've all seen that famous meme of like like, good times create weak
Right.
men create bad times create strong men create good times. That cycle, that meme. And I mean, that's a simplistic but I think accurate view of history. And so we are at a bad times moment, which is creating strong men and women. And they're going to create a good times moment. I've said for a couple of years now that the 2020s will become one of the greatest eras of filmmaking for some of the reasons we're talking about,
Right.
because of
Nice.
new technologies, new people coming up to the plate, and now Hollywood itself adjusting to realities. We're in the shift now to, I think,
Right.
great storytelling.
Really
No.
fast, Cyfax is in the house. Hail, Polly. Cool new setup. Thanks, brother. Good
Yeah.
seeing you. We're going to have to catch a movie soon. And they asked you if you've seen Hillbilly Elegy.
I have not, but people seem to really like Hillbilly Elegy. So I don't know if either of you gentlemen have seen it. I don't want to comment on something I haven't seen, but people keep talking about it. People tell me I should watch it.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
We have like a thing where we're gonna go check it out. Me and my
well, it's on
wife were
Netflix.
talking about it, and we're planning to get in the book. So too. So
Yeah. Wonderful movie. Very well done drama. Great performances. As a film based on true events, knocked it out of the park. Really, I have to tell you, just from the story, right? of this family and then this young JD Vance coming from such abject poverty.
Yeah.
You know, those were a lot of our parents, man. Like they came from nothing, and they came from some heartbroken families. So I really connected with a lot of that in that film. Uh,
And that's something Hollywood didn't understand because again, many of my colleagues are from very privileged backgrounds, right?
right.
Their grandparents suffered, but they've forgotten their grandparents' sufferings. People like immigrants like myself. I was born in Pakistan. I came here when I was 3 years old. I suffered. I watched my parents suffer. I watched my parents go from a nice, stable, middle class lifestyle in Pakistan to crashing through the
Boom.
the
Right.
bottom of America when they arrived here, and then sacrificing everything while staying down there so that I could go somewhere. So we get it.
Yeah. And we gotta. This goes without being said. Hit Patreon. Hit Cameron Pasha's Patreon,
Yeah,
guys.
absolutely.
The Latino
Absolutely.
Science been a member of the
The
Patreon
best
for a
way,
while.
if you're hearing anything negative, just come join my Patreon. The best way to find out the truth of it is to come see it for yourself.
Yeah. We got another super chat, amigo. Michael Nemo for $5. Nemo. You say Nemo. I say Nemo. Nemo. Let's call the whole thing off. Did you guys hear about the Star Trek short? That's a hit with fans. Uses new tech and shows what Trek can still do when handled by intelligent people.
I'm assuming you're talking about what we referred to just a bit earlier, the
Yes.
OTOY.
I think Michael
Yeah.
just maybe got here. We did a whole segment, Michael. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw it and it moved me to tears. So people, they're the OTOY Star Trek. So do search for that, you'll find them, and they're amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so.
I mean, and then Fletcher has a whole video in Spanish on it as well, a live stream. So there seems to be a lot of positive reaction to that. So, I haven't asked Mike, Mexican Iron Man, what he thought about it because he's
Right.
such a Star Trek fan.
Oh, no,
See, that's the thing. I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, but I respect Star Trek, but compared to Star Wars, no.
I'm more of a fan of the original Trek by Roddenberry, and I'm a fan of Deep Space Nine, which I think is the most sophisticated Star
Mm,
Trek shows. And I
that
also
was
worked with
good.
Ira Bear, who was my first boss,
Yeah.
who created that show. So, I mean, those are the two ones that I connected with most deeply because they're the ones that showed human beings as still flawed in this world. I think one of the mistakes of the next generation was I think Brandon Braga and others did not understand what
Mm.
Roddenberry was saying about human nature. Really, he was pointing us towards an ideal while showing they still remained human in the days of Kirk with their flaws. And whereas I think in Deep Space Nine we saw very very flawed characters, which was in line with Roddenberry's vision of flawed people rising to a higher vision.
No. Right.
Well, you guys have been fantastic in the chat. We still got a couple more stories. Melissa Barrera says
Yeah,
acting offers went quiet. Cameron,
yeah.
what's going on here? She's an
Well,
actor. She just wants to act.
we've talked
But
about this since it happened, so you maybe want to give a bit of rundown of what happened and how we've talked about it on this channel.
so this is from Variety. Just came out a few days ago. Says acting offers went quiet for like 10 months after Scream firing. Fans tell her what they did to you is so messed up. I'm sorry. So what they did, they being Spyglass Entertainment, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Basically publicly fired her, libeled her,
Mhm.
defamed her, and it was nothing short of disgusting. And Latino Slant has been behind any actor, freedom of speech, whether you're from the left or from the right, I don't care. But if you have an opinion and you're using your platform, good on you. But some fans will like it, some fans won't. But to have a production company fire you, I mean, even call you an anti-Semite, that's like a death
That's the
nail.
thing. Bojina Krana,
No,
Melissa,
that's a
different
death
politics,
nail
but
in Hollywood.
that's the death knell of Hollywood. That's the one thing you
That's
can't
the
escape.
worst thing you can do in Hollywood is call someone an anti-Semite. I mean, it's but that's the quick that happened about a year ago, and it all happened really fast in regards to her
Yeah.
posting pro cease fire. pro-Palestine people, the children,
Hmm.
right? She made it very clear what she was, and she still makes it very eloquent and clear about. Then there's an immediate firing, and then Jenna Ortega backed up a girl like Latinas do. Fuck you, Spyglass. I'm going with my homegirl. I don't need to do another stupid
Yeah,
ass
she quit
screen
24
film.
hours later, which I
Here we go.
predicted she would. When this first
All
came
right.
out, I said she's out, and the next day she was out, but for scheduling reasons. It's not scheduling reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was perfectly happy to be in the Scream show. She left the next day in support of her friend, as did the director.
It was quiet for like 10 months, Barrera said, while discussing her acting work more or less disappeared from her after she was fired. I was still getting offers for small things here and there. I'm not going to lie and say there was nothing.
Yeah,
But the message was like, oh, yeah, she probably doesn't have work. She'll say yes to anything.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's
Like
the
she was
pressure they want to put you in.
like
It's a pressure
Melissa's
they want to
desperate, right?
Yeah, that's the pressure
I
they
think
put
if she
Toronto
was
in.
desperate, she would never have spoken out.
Yeah, I mean, both Gina Carano and Melissa Barrera are fearless. Whether you like any of them, don't like some of their politics, they're both fearless. I mean, they have a little bit of both of them have a little bit of leeway in the sense they're both from frankly affluent families, which gives them a little bit more courage perhaps to speak out, than broke struggling artists. But it's important that anyone, especially with affluence who could easily just rely on their laurels, speaks out.
Mm.
Fletcher?
No, yeah. I mean, you have this kind of thing where they can't make up their minds. Do they want their people to go out there and speak their minds, or do they not? Because the issue is, what they're trying to control the actor in a sense, but then they want to give him free reign. They have to kind of give one side or the other, because I do feel that they're sending young actors a bad message, because they're saying, go out there, say whatever the heck you want, just promote. And then they're like, yeah, whoa, when it comes to certain issues, now we're going to completely, bombard your career. And that's, it's such a dangerous and it's such a, misguided, message that they're sending to young actors, because you have the like Miss Barrera, she has her opinion, and so many other people believe the same opinion, and then you have people on the side, they believe their opinion, but only the people on the other side are able to voice their opinion. And you run into this idea to, it's like, okay, is there like no holes, like you can't say certain things? And that's where Hollywood has this wire cross, because certain things are completely on the table and other things are completely not. And people say it's because the makeup of their industry, and you're like, yeah, but you're kind of showing your hand in this. You're saying you're completely uh you know like certain things you can't talk about. And the Palestine is one of the things that they were like, no,
Well,
no,
but
no, but only certain people.
yeah. Well, that's always been the red line. I knew that when I came to Hollywood.
Right.
Vast majority of people in Hollywood sympathize with Israel over Palestine. That's just personal affiliations and emotional connections and blah blah. As I've stated in the chat, I'm very pro Palestine. I'm unafraid to say that's hurt me. That's hurt me in my
Right.
career. Just like, I mean, I'm nowhere near Ms. Barrera's popularity, but it's hurt me in the positions I've been in, because I don't bring the topic up. But if someone says something, I'll be like, well, I've been to the West Bank. I've seen with my own eyes what's happening. And then they get upset when I point out what I've seen, and then that they don't want to hear it, and then that makes adversaries. And most people would consider me a conservative. I'm a libertarian, but I'm a conservative libertarian, right? I'm a social values, pretty conservative guy, and I'm not woke. Certainly, most people not consider me woke. And so the idea of putting that conversation into the wokest bag is also silliness. I think the fans do that as well, and so that's I believe in Palestine because of property rights. That's a whole other conversation. That's a conservative position. That was the
Right.
position of people, in the conservatives in the 60s and the 70s, but we've forgotten it.
No,
I'm going to read some
completely.
more of this article. Back to Melissa Barrera. They gave me a lot in my career. I made really good friends. I have such loyal fans from those movies that are now watching the rest of the stuff that I do, per The Independent. But she admits that there are drawbacks at fan conventions. For instance, parades of Scream devotees are prone to sympathetically allude to the controversy between autograph signings or asking how she's doing. Or they're like, what they did to you is so messed up. I'm so sorry that happened, Barrett added. And it's something I think it's never going to end because the franchise is never going to end. So while I still have so much love for those movies, the reminders of that sour moment made it a little bit weird. While offers stopped coming in for the most part after the screen firing, Barrera is now finally back at work. She's currently filming a new espionage thriller series for Peacock along with Simu Liu, which she calls exactly what I needed to ease myself back into the industry to do something fun that's not going to destroy me emotionally. That's a kind of a cool gig.
Yeah.
A new espionage thriller for Peacock, a TV series.
Yeah, so, I mean, she's working. I mean, she's working. I mean, I personally liked her vampire movie. Not everyone did. Not everyone in the fandom did. I thought it was a very fun movie, and I thought she did a great
Oh,
job.
Abigail.
Yeah,
Abigail was great. We
I
loved
love
it.
Abigail. I loved
We saw it in
Abigail.
the theater.
Yeah, I
I
loved
still haven't
Abigail.
seen
I
your
had a blast.
monster. And that. Excuse me. Now I'm coughing. Fletcher.
Spread it to you off the screen. I spread it to you by screen. So, but yeah, no, it's look, the pivotal thing is I'm glad she's able to talk about what happened to her, and this is part of the overarching thing we're talking about, where people are being honest. That, and I think this is part of the healing process of what we've been through with all Hollywood, compelling certain ideologies, and then the people in social media responding angrily to that, and the war that's been going on has damaged a lot of perfectly good people with good hearts and sincerity, and have hurt them. And the idea that that Melissa Barrera was not hurt by being fired from as a human being, forget about career stuff, was not hurt, is false. And I think we're hopefully now at a stage where maybe we can start having a conversation of, like, let's all right, the fans have largely won the argument over woke versus non-woke. They've won the argument, and the industry is moving in that direction. So now, can we start treating people like human beings again and recognizing that they have feelings rather than seeing everyone as a plastic enemy?
So Wazamata said, "Yeah, but how many millions has Rachel Ziegler's mouth cost Disney? Because Ziegler's pro-Palestine.
Is she? I'm not familiar with her having
Yeah,
that position. I know that Jenna Ortega is. She's been that for a year before
I
October
think,
7th.
yeah. So
I
what
don't know if the
Wazamata
Ziegler
said
is.
in another
Please
comment
forgive me if
was
I'm
like,
wrong. I don't know that.
so Wazamata said in the comment prior, why is it that some actors can now be pro-Palestine? Nothing's happened to them, costing whatever. And I think Melissa was the front lines, man.
She was
I
the
think
front lines.
she was the
Well, I
front
mean, the thing
line.
is, Jenna was the front lines because they were just afraid to go after her. She had too strong a support. Melissa, they thought they could take down, right? Jenna was saying these things a year, 2 years ago, and no one said a word against her. And because they were afraid of her and her fan base. And again, I don't know that Ms. Ziegler has that position. Forgive me if anyone can show me evidence in the chat that she'd ever posted anything on this topic. It would
Yeah,
surprise me if she
yes,
did.
she did. She did.
yeah.
She did? Okay, good.
Yeah, several times.
I am also aware that one of the reasons that she's been quote unquote protected is her contacts.
Yep.
I believe she's very close with Mr. Spielberg,
Right.
and so within that inner circle, like my understanding, he's like a godfather to her, inner circle, and people that are protected by Steven Spielberg tend to be protected in this town. Period, whatever their views are, and so that shouldn't surprise anybody. It's all about who. Jennifer Ortega was protected by her massive fan base. Melissa Barrera, they, I think, underestimated her fan base,
Mhm.
and I think that they were surprised at the backlash that they got from it. They didn't see that coming. You know, so that's a lesson for them.
Yeah, and I think completely also because a large majority of Barrera's Ms. Barrera's audience fan base is from Mexico.
Yeah,
So in Mexico she was never canceled. It didn't. It was like completely not not brought up in a sense like majorly. But in the U.S., like you said, it wasn't. She doesn't have Mr. Spielberg's backing, so it's
Yeah. And
she's actually
Wazamata in the
adversarial
chat.
to Mr. Spielberg. Her movie In the Heights was frankly a better movie than his remake of West Side Story, I think. And so I've said, remember I said on your channel, I said years ago that his people were coming after In the Heights to devalue it so that his could be the one Latino, musical, right? So she's been on his crosshairs for a while.
So yeah, and I was saying Wazamata in the chat. The chat was moving so fast. Someone said it in the chat. It wasn't Wazamata, but someone said in the chat in regards to why is it Ziegler and other actors can make pro-Palestine comments and not feeling repercussions? I just think Melissa Barrera was the front line. And the first one is always the one that gets the most hits. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So we got a couple of more. You guys have been incredible.
And we
Tons of
still
super
got a lot
chats.
of people watching. It's great.
Tons of people watching. Has everyone voted though? That's what I want to know in the poll, because I want to close the poll out. What do you think, Fletch? Can we close the poll out?
Yeah, sure. We have over 140 votes now.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
140 votes, still over 130 people hanging out with us. Fun times. I see this as a badge of about 85 likes, 1 dislike. Come on, man. I want more dislikes. You guys
I think I
are
know who gave you the dislike.
well, the thing is that Cameron, we get more algorithm engagement if we get a dislikes. It's the best. It's the best. Why don't you read this for me, brother Fletcher?
All right. What am I reading?
Here you go, bro.
Oh,
What am I
okay.
reading? Who am I?
What are we doing? What does Hollywood fear the most? So the winner is 2, not being relevant with 33%. Coming in second, not making any money with 32%. Not being able to control us with 32%, and not making good movies with 2%. Over 100 of you voted, and obviously it's a hard question to answer because everybody was like by the nano of who won here.
But it's pretty evenly. I mean, that's a third, a third, a third. That's
Right?
pretty good, right? And I think all of those are fair. I voted in the chat, so my view was that they fear making money the most. But I think fearing not being relevant is a linked thing to that.
That's a
You
good
know,
one.
Yeah.
So, listen, week in, week out, Fletcher has the best polls, man. So thank you with these questions, and then your options are awesome, Fletch. So
Oh,
thank you so much, making you look good. And Syfax did a downvote. I got you.
There you go.
It's okay. It's okay.
Downvote, baby.
man, we are rocking every week now, man. This is what our third Friday now together, Cameron.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
we're doing
Official.
well here, and I'm even coming out of my cold from Houston. So yeah,
Look at, and you're feeling better now. I mean, this is
better.
you know what I mean.
I'm faking it till we make it.
Your
There you
spirits are your spirits.
Yeah.
Over 135 combined, still hanging out with us, chatting away. We dislike that Cameron can't be here twice a week. Hey, that's a lot of commitment, bro. That's a lot of commitment.
Well, Osvaldo's been very gracious in the chat, so I wanted to acknowledge him. He's very, very kind and say very nice things. So thank you.
Yeah. And you know what? The way I see it, man, the way I see it, I get unkind comments during the week on videos.
Yeah.
I'll just say adios and I throw you out of my channel. I just don't have time for y'all. I don't have time for it.
Yeah, it's okay. Look, there's some interesting disagreements. Chat on various things, but they're all respectful and they're not personal.
So I want to remind you guys one more time. Yeah, it's all good. I want to remind you guys one more time. Latino Slam merchandise, such as Defund the Thought Police that I have on right now, is on sale 50% off. Boom.
50.
Oh, wait a minute. We're 50% off. Boom. Where's
50.
my music? Where's my music? Hold on.
Where's the music? Oh, there you go.
Wait a minute. I want to get sales. Go right now. Any item on our merchandise page is 50% off for the next week. It's Black Friday weekend week. We're going to just, listen, use that code that's on. It's called Slant. What is it called? God, I'm out of it.
What are you talking about?
Where's my code? It's on the page. I know. So professional. Give me a second, guys. It is called Slant Thanks with an X. You'll see it when you hit the home page. Use code Slant Thanks with an X to check out 50% off, man.
50.
50. All right, let's bring back in the homies.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we're done. I think that's it. with the articles. Is there, I want
Oh
to
yeah,
talk about.
there's something that I wanted to hit before we leave.
Okay.
Yeah, what's that?
All right. Let me see. Because I think I figured out how to share. So
Oh, I'm kind of scared. Uh-oh.
here we go. Oh, you got it. All right. So, oh, I'm a little bit in an echo here.
Echoey there, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't hear it.
No. Oh, okay.
No.
All right. So this is coming for deadline. Vin Diesel hints at Fast X Part 2 release date, final status, and Dwayne Johnson return. As you guys know, Vin Diesel and The Rock had a little bit of a tumultuous relationship recently, and there was kind of doubt him coming to the Fast X franchise. But looks like with some of the stuff that's going on in Hollywood, there was a little bit of a kickback. So right now, the sequel to the 7.3 billion franchise and its headaches just asked Vin Diesel about the next Fast Furious installment, and that is the Fast X Part 2. So the star posted on social media yesterday teasing the possibility of a spring 2026 release, the return of Dwayne Johnson, and he's reportedly squared off with an on-screen on and off kind of fight between them, and a hint at a two-movie finale. As you know, Fast X was a part one or supposed to be a part two, but then they were mentioned as part of a trilogy. So he's got a little bit of tug going on because Diesel wrote here in the post that he posted here on X. He said, I got Universal in one ear saying we need Fast X 2 by March 2026, and that is hinting at the release date, which is not in the Universal timeline for releases at this time, but he says that's when they want it. And I have Comcast in the other ear saying we need two movies to be the finale, which is now hinting at the two-part finale, so that would make it a trilogy. Then the writer Fast Five sent me this image and said, we need to see Dom and Hobbs resolve their differences. I just want to get back to real street racing, practical stunt, and a reunion of that beautiful brotherhood. Happy Thanksgiving. And that is the news from Deadline. Breaking news.
Okay. Um, I mean, my only comment is I think that these movies will never end. I think we are trapped in the Fast and the Furious world forever. I don't think there's a finale to this.
These movies will never end, says
Fact.
Kamran Pasha.
Fact.
As long as they're making money, they're just going to keep getting made, and they're going to get dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. I one of my mentors in Hollywood is Rob Cohen, who directed the original Fast and Furious, which is a very, very good movie. It's an exciting movie, character development, really great stuff that led to this franchise, right? And
Right.
so, sadly, they started going downhill relatively fast, and now they've entered into self-parody. I think the last movie was so embarrassing, and yet it made a lot of money. And so as long as it's going to keep making money, they're going to keep doing these. They're going to keep making sequels of these. They're going to keep making runoffs of these. We're trapped in this Fast and Furious reality for the rest of our lives.
I have no comment. I'll go even further with Cameron. These movies are awful. I haven't watched these movies in years. I think if anyone's worse than The Rock being a movie star, it's Vin Diesel. What a douche. And I liked him years ago in the Pitch Black thing. That was okay.
Pitch Black was great. I love Pitch
Yep.
Black. It's a good movie.
But it's like we gotta come back. Can you imagine that conversation?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Can I give a little insight from some screenwriters I know who at least pitched the Fast and Furious franchise?
Yeah,
right?
go ahead.
And so give me insight. There's all these unspoken, unwritten rules to make these movies. And so they reveal to you one of the unspoken rules that you have to understand to write these movies is that, Vin Diesel's character, he never, ever asks a question. Everything he says is declarative because he knows everything. The character can't ever be surprised by anything. And so it'll always be like, so you betrayed us. It's like I already knew you betrayed us, right? it's not like you betrayed us. He's always like Zen and knows everying.
Right, right.
Never ask a question.
Right.
It's always be declarative because he already knows the answer.
So okay, all right. So let's have some fun with this. how would this call have gone? Like, you know, him trying to like get the Rock back. Hey, Dwayne, how you doing? Happy Thanksgiving. See, I sound like Rocky.
No, see, that already made the mistake. The call wouldn't be how you doing. That's a question. He'd be like, so Dwayne, you're doing well, right? There's no question. You're doing well. He's going to declaratively state.
I don't know, Fletcher. You know, I'm kind of, you know, I had just given Fletcher props as a producer, and now I want to fire him because he brought this article up. That's how much I hate Fast and the Furious, Fletcher.
Wow. Well, you know, it's all right. You know, you guys sometimes don't like fun. It's all right. There's no shame in that. There's no shame in that.
Look, you know, what I love about the fact that everyone is immortal on this movies, right? Everyone is immortal. Like literally Gal Gadot fell out of an airplane. She fell out of an airplane. She fell out of an airplane.
Did she really?
Shows up in a submarine in the last movie. Like, dude, she fell out.
No, really?
Yeah.
There's a submarine in the movie?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They have to race the submarine.
We saw that brilliant Japanese actor. We saw him die in the car. Turns out it was a magical hologram.
What is going on, man? And you like this stuff, Fletcher?
Heck yeah. You guys are too American on this one. The world loves Fast and the Furious.
That's why we're trapped in them. That's why we're trapped in them, man.
Wow.
What they are is an homage to like the 70s bad action movies that the world loved. Like when I was a child, a very small child in Pakistan, I remember seeing a lot of Sylvester Stallone garbage movies that were. Pakistan has lovely like one sheet culture. Like you'll see incredible like movie art all over the country. It just loves that stuff. So these really visceral one sheets everywhere that are painted as murals on the walls, and you would see all these like Sylvester Stallone garbage movies that were like, and people loved them, man. And as Clark Gable from Rhett Butler from Gone with the Wind said this in the 1930s. Clark Gable said, "You are not a movie star until you're a movie star in Karachi." Which wasn't even it was British India in those days. He said in the 30s, he said because even then Karachi had a massive like film loving culture. So you're not a movie star unless you walk down the street of Karachi and are mobbed. Then you're a movie star.
Yeah. And he is doing a sequel to Riddick. So it's coming up.
Oh, Jesus.
We're gonna have Furia. So that's gonna be awesome.
Well, you know what's awesome is Rod Thunderheart.
Yep.
Boom.
Coming in for 10 Canadian dollars. Hail, Polly, Cameron, and Fletcher. I'll be rejoining Cameron's P Place. Using his advice and outlines. I'm still writing, but winding down. See Through Love 2 Pyro. Here's See Through Love 1.
Well, Rod is a great author. I've reviewed his material. He's really talented.
This is a good book, man. I mean, we were even talking about who would be the Latina cast for the lead character. What was the actress we were saying the other day? Camila Mendes? I forgot who. Yeah. Someone spicy. It's got to be someone hot and spicy to be the.
Well, she's gonna play Tila, and she's gonna play Tila now in He-Man. So it's great.
She looks great. She's working out. She got the red hair.
Dude, I got to think for all the girls on that Archie show, whatever, Riverdale. All of them were the hottest girls I've ever seen. They're great. I love them.
Hey, let's really fast. Can we do this? Can we get See Through Love's Amazon link for sale? Can we get that link on the chat, guys? That would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Thank you so much for the 10 Canadian dollars. See Through Love on sale now. See Through Love 2 coming soon. And I believe we have a video for you, my friend. Here we go. La da da dee 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 dee. We have an anniversary.
Woohoo!
It's been 10 years, man. 10 years. What happened in Hollywood 10 years ago, Kamran Pasha?
It feels like it was 100 years ago. I mean,
you want to take a guess?
Lifetimes in this last 10 years, right? Well, You tell me, because I mean, Last Jedi wasn't 10 years ago.
10 years ago, this trailer debuted. 10 years ago.
Okay.
There has been an awakening.
Oh,
Have you felt it?
All right.
stop.
Wow.
Ray!
Poor John Boyega.
That trailer was an example of false advertising, because you have Hamill's voice come on and say to an unknown person who would later turn out to be Ray, the Force is strong in my family. My father had it.
Right?
My sister had it. You have that power too, which implies the person they're talking to is a Skywalker. The person he's talking to is Ray, who turned out not to be a Skywalker. So that was false advertising.
This was the teaser trailer, right? So it just had, we all got this idea, this taste that this ex-stormtrooper would be a Jedi. The buildup, and then of course, the bullshit we got. Of course, it's a beautiful trailer, but we know, in a way, though, it's brought us all together. Fletcher, I know you're a huge Force Awakens fan. Any thoughts on the 10-year anniversary? Did you
Yeah.
make a cake and blow out some candles?
Oh no, I didn't. But we did joke around with my wife that, we did cosplay to go see the movie. We won one of those midnight screenings of it with a bunch of fans, and it was, I guess with fans everything's better. You know what I mean? It's like, so everybody was like hyped up, and we're standing in line, for hours, and everybody's cosplaying. We're all like doing lightsaber battles and the stuff. My wife was having a great time. They had merch, tables with merch and stuff. It was awesome. And so the hype, we're already hyped up. Anything that came on the screen was great. And then we tried
Well,
it up. And then when we left, we started thinking about it. And then it was like, what the heck did we just watch?
We started thinking about it.
And that's when it was like, are you serious? And then we started blazing, because we were like, are you serious that you got the black characters running around as a janitor? It was like we were insane. It was like the level of just craziness about this movie was as soon as we thought about it and left, it was because you're hyped. Everybody's running around, lightsaber battles. I mean, it's just anything. A character came up and you're like, ah. So you're like, but afterwards, oh my gosh, that's when the suffering started.
Well, as I said in the chat, it was the only Force Awakens was the only Star Wars, you want to call it a Star Wars movie, that
Right.
I only saw once. And then I laughed, and I thought I enjoyed it at the time, like you did. I mean, I had some, but then I walked out of it feeling kind of hollow, and I felt
Right.
no desire to watch it a second time. Hell, I watched episode 1 multiple times. I didn't even like it that much. Like, now I love it, right? But I didn't like
Right.
it that much. And I watched it. Sadly, I watched The Last Jedi twice because I already bought 2 tickets. So I assumed I was going to love it, right? Because, I had frankly loved Ryan Johnson's earlier work. And so I was hyped up with it. And then I walked out of there stunned. Like, no, that can't be right. I must have misunderstood. So I said, I have a second ticket. I'm going to go watch it again. I saw it on Friday. I'm going to see it again on Saturday. Saturday, I watched it again. I was like, oh my God, this really was what I thought it was, right? And then I never bothered to see the next movie after that. I didn't even go, right? And so, yeah, I mean, I will say this. I think the most tragic thing that happened that nobody even thinks about in the last 10 years of this franchise, what this franchise did, is that's actually very specific and to me very tragic. And I'm being very honest here. I remember watching the news when The Last Jedi was about to premiere, and then Lucasfilm was doing all of its PR, and at the time, and I saw this news article about how a terminally ill man who was close to death was a huge Star Wars fan, and so Ryan Johnson arranged for him to have a
I remember that.
Jedi. He was taken from the hospital and by stormtroopers, all and hyped up. Could you imagine what that poor man felt? He was, could you imagine what he felt as he's dying? This is what
That's
they
messed
gave me.
up.
I mean, that I'm being very serious here. That haunts
Yeah,
me. That haunts me that they didn't have the self awareness
yeah.
to not do that to that poor guy.
Well, there you have it. 10 years ago. It's been downhill ever since.
Not fully down. It's been downhill largely, but they're trying to get it back uphill, and
Yeah, yeah.
we gotta support the efforts to get back uphill.
Wow.
And let's take the triumphs of the last year of a changing culture to move it that way.
Well, let's wrap it up here on the channel. It is Thanksgiving weekend. Time for family, food, friends, hanging out, games. My cousin came over last night. We smoked big fat cigars. Had a great time. But now it's time to lounge. Lounge on the couch or streaming. There's all kinds of stuff. We want to throw out some movies recommendations. You want me to start first as far as Thanksgiving? They're not Thanksgiving movies, but like movies. Hey, maybe you should watch this one. You want me to start first, guys?
Sure.
Yeah, please.
All right. The other night, we discovered a film called The Outside, and it is a brand new zombie thriller on Netflix.
Okay.
It is from the Philippines. It is about a family, uh, husband and wife, and they have two sons, and how they move to the countryside, and it is his parents' old house, which has his own haunting memories
Okay.
besides what's going on out there. And that makes for some incredible drama between the living. Forget about the zombie stuff. The stuff inside, what was going on inside. It was just, uh, it was it was so engaging. The lead actor, the gentleman that played the father, was really, what a great role he had. What a great role this man had, and the character. So it's called The Outside. It is in subtitles, but there's not a lot of language spoken, if that makes sense, because it's so expressive. There's so many things going on as far as action and twists. That is on Netflix, called The Outside. Who's next? Who's got something?
Nice, nice.
So I'm going to come in with a movie that's not in the theaters and was out several years ago, but I saw it earlier this year on the hell is it called? Shutter, Shutter
Sure.
app. I'm still sick. My brain is fogged. Shutter, which is one of my favorite apps. I love horror movies and I love watching all these incredible horror movies from all over the world that I wouldn't have access to. Shutter has all of them, and so this is a movie that was filmed in Bucharest or whatever during the pandemic. With
Ooh.
it's called Watcher, not The Watchers by Night Shyamalan, right? That came out, or Night Shyamalan's daughter, or whoever the hell directed that movie, right? That was recent, but a
Oh,
couple.
dude.
Yeah, so 2022. This is a couple years before, called Watcher, and I believe it's. So I saw it on Shutter. I believe it's still on there. It's a 2022. It's more of a psychological thriller. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and it starts Micah Monroe, who's one of the great screen queens of our time, right? And she was in Long Legs, and she's been around forever, right? And so she's incredible actress, and it's
Ooh, yeah.
the story of a couple that moves to Eastern Europe just to start their lives over. American couple, right? They're there, they've got a new job, and she moves in, and they're in this nice little apartment building in Bucharest or whatever, and they
Mm.
look out the window, right? And she looks out the window, and every night she sees like the silhouette of a man in a building across the street watching her from the shadows of his window every single night. And she becomes convinced this guy might be the serial killer that's hunting down women in this city, right? And it is an incredibly tense movie.
Mhm.
It's a lot like a classic Hitchcock movie, and it's all about the psychological thrills of this woman believing something but not having proof, and everyone thinking she's becoming paranoid and going crazy. But maybe there's truth to what she's seeing, and it's very, very chilling. So if you want a good chilling Thanksgiving weekend where
Yeah.
on the edge of your seat and wondering what's going to happen next, this indie film, Watcher with Michael Monroe, is really scary and worth watching. Excellent performances.
And I believe you can catch it on let's see, 19 to 2022. It's
Yeah.
on Hulu right now.
It's on Hulu, so okay, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's an example. We're talking earlier about independent film. This is an example of independent film in Eastern Europe with an American screams queen and superb writing, tense performances, very Hitchcockian.
That's a watcher. All right, we'll make a list right now. Fletch, what do you got?
Oh, actually, I like so this on Netflix. I guess they have a show called Hellbound, which is a Korean drama, and it's kind of dealing with what if demons can come and take you out.
Okay.
And I believe
Whoa.
season 2 is coming out, and it's really interesting how they play with religion in it. And it kind of treats it with respect in certain aspects, not so much the cults, but religion in itself. They do treat it with respect. So I was really.
What's it called?
It's called Hellbound.
Hellbound.
Yeah, it's got great graphics, great acting, very interesting plot line and storyline. Um,
Hmm.
so I think a lot of people, if you like sci-fi stuff, but that touches on religion but doesn't blaspheme religion in a sense,
Hmm.
I think that'll be a good one to go. I'm always looking for that kind of stuff. Also, Fiery Priest. If you guys like something that's fun and has a lot of action, and it's safe, kind of for the family. It's called The Fiery Priest. It's another K drama of Catholic priest that's an ex assassin and a nun who's an ex gambler, and all kinds of, like, everybody in the parish actually has some kind of weird past, but they use it together as sort of like an A team to fight crime. And it's awesome and it's funny. And if you like anime, Dragon Ball Dima just came out, and
Hey, all right,
really
that's
cool.
enough. You got, you're already
All
getting,
right.
come on. You're like 3, 4, 5. We're gonna go
Yeah,
one.
he won't stop pitching, but it's good. That's great. And I just want to add to the comment of cultural change. We're beginning to see Hollywood. Part of the cultural shift we're seeing is Hollywood now beginning to treat religion with respect again.
Mm.
And I think that's, as someone who's religious himself, I think that's very important. I've been fighting for that for a very long time. So this is an example. Another example, I think, is the movie Heretic that had Hugh Grant recently. That
Ooh.
was about two sort of Latter Day Saint missionary women who go to a house of a person who's very much anti-religion, and it turns into a horror film of what happens to them. And it is a movie that has apparently been very well received, even by LDS members, of showing that what happens when people who are aggressively, like Hollywood, very anti-religion, start going to extremes to suppress people's beliefs. And so that's something Hollywood dislikes religion in particular. It hates Islam. It finds LDS to be weird, and for them to portray LDS people as kind of heroes in a movie like that, that's a shift.
My bad. Let Fletcher cook. All right, go ahead, Fletcher.
Those were my picks.
All right. I got a good trashy one. Starring the foxy Megan Fox. Oh
Oh,
man.
okay. She's still foxy.
Man, it's called Till Death. It is great thriller trash. It's on Netflix. She's married to a dude, like they're very well off. She has an affair. She calls off the affair, but this is called Till Death, and so the setup is that they go to their lakeside house during the winter, and he does something to where she is put in this just idiotic position physically. But then the action starts. It is so trashy good. We really enjoyed it. It's called Till Death with Megan Fox. And I think she can really pick up that niche that J-Lo has opened up in regards to like Enough and Mama, all these,
Well, she was
badass.
Jennifer's Body. She's always had that niche, right?
Right,
She's
right. She's
great
always
there.
had that niche, but like she's like been really picking up the last couple of years, and she looks foxy, man. She looks fantastic.
She's lovely. She's lovely.
You got another one, Cameron, or are we good?
No, I think we're good. I mean, I will say my family watched Scream 2 here during Thanksgiving week. I had seen it in the theater, And I love the original, not Scream. I'm sorry, Smile 2, and I love
Smile.
the original Smile. I thought it was brilliant. I think Smile 2 is very good. It's not at the level of the first one. Very few are, but it is very solid and scary. And I would recommend that if you haven't seen it.
Nice.
Yeah. What's LDS? LDS, Church of
Latter-day
Latter-day
Saints.
Saints. Hey, Courtney, just getting here, huh?
Yeah,
Man, we're wrapping up, so you gotta watch the. It's been a great live stream.
We have a great live stream. Go watch it again. There's a lot of interesting topics that we discussed today.
It's a lot today. Okay, I think we're done, my friend.
Okay.
Let's get on out of here, Fletcher.
Let's get on out of here, Fletcher.
I don't have. Let me see. What? You know what? We'll just play the mañanitas out. Okay, everyone. We're back next Friday. Every Friday, Slant Cameron Action. This has been another great Friday stream for us. Have a great rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. Be well, everybody.
God bless her.
Adios.
Estas son las mañanitas que cantaba el rey David. Hoy por ser día de tu santo, te las cantamos aquí. Despierta, mi bien, despierta. Mira que ya amaneció. Ya los pajarillos cantan, la luna ya